The first issue is contentious even within my own brain, so I don't know how it is with you. It's evolved over the years. Now I drink a lot of Pepsi Max. I'll say that, to avoid confronting the issue. Star Wars or Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings. I like Star Wars. I think it's good. But Lord of the Rings is much further embedded into my soul. Gaming or sleeping? The thing about me and sleep is that if I don't have it, I very much can't enjoy life on any level. I'm a bit of a wreck in that regard. So my ideal situation is gaming during the time I should be asleep, and then sleeping during the time I should be awake. But that can only happen in the summer, really. And soon enough, never. Well, no. No, because I'm going to have a fucking great job that entirely fits around my own life and what I want to do. Yes, 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 yes. So, I didn't answer that question. Moving on. London or Brighton? London. Ketchup or mayo? Eesh! That's a dreadful dilemma. Both mixed. Haha. Definitely didn't avoid answering that question. Just cheated. I'll say mayo. Blonde or blue? Blonde for now, blue for back in the day. And Shaun of the Dead, because Hot Fuzz, for me, didn't hit that many buttons. Nor really did Shaun of the Dead, but when I watched it, I enjoyed it more. While I do have a massive light behind me that is the sun, what I'm more concerned about, other than problem sets, is that I have an exam on Monday about quantum mechanics, I have an exam on Tuesday about electromagnetic waves and optics, and I have a lab report due also on the Monday about the Hall effect in germanium. And problem sets. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I don't know what it means to be too heavy for gravity, but I'll just assume you mean having a heavy head. I would obviously prefer to have gravity-defying arms, because you just have to hold them down by your sides and get pretty bulky. Whereas, if you had a really heavy head, it'd probably fuck your back up significantly. I don't know if I can get much bulkier than this. Like, but we'll see. Too young for what? I'm about to be 25. That means I can do anything I want in the world. I'm a fucking grown-up. I liked Kenan and Kel, but I feel like, rather faggily, I got more out of Sabrina. Don't know why. I just watched it and enjoyed it, and it was on at the right kind of time in the day for me to just watch it and be like, Sabrina, nice eye. Whereas Kenan and Kel was good too. I enjoyed that as well. But it had rather less to it. I kind of have a bit of a soft spot for people having magic talents. I really liked The Secret World of Alex Mack, I think it was called. Bad show again, but you got some secret fucking powers. That's pretty rad. I'll take your show and watch it. Fight Club or American History X, not sure. I've watched Fight Club many more times than I watched American History X because I was 15 or whatever. And I saw American History X a number of years later. Bish, I'll have to watch them again sometime. Well, watch American History X again at least once. Well, once. And then I'll be able to answer this question, but until that day. Whispering or shouting? I can't shout. I can whisper, but I don't need to because my voice is really fucking quiet. So the intermediate stage, which is more close to whispering by a long way than it is to shouting, is the answer I will choose. Doesn't fit the frame. Being alone or being in a group depends entirely on what you are endeavouring to achieve and do on that particular day. overall, throughout my life, on average, being on my own. But the group sessions are required to do some things that are fun. Blip! To some level, I like racing games like Dirt 2 and Grid, which have some level of realism. And I like the sort of unwieldy nature and how you actually have to be good at it and hone a skill and not just point in a direction and go there. But generally, I'm glad they exist in all their various forms. That's very interesting and nice and pleasing to me. How many people play, train simulators and stuff like that. I like it. But it's not for me, I don't think. Not that anyway. Maybe other things. I think if I try a game and I like it, that's retarded. I think it's quite possible for me to like any form of simulation game, though, as long as it isn't too homogeneous, like driving a train for hours. Not cool. Don't do that. This is my procrastinatory time to do with what I will, which is wasting time, abyssal waste of time. Hello. And then you come plodding in with your doom. Thanks, hi, nice doom you got there. I like your wares. Oh wait, no I don't. I was doing this to avoid eye contact with the Word document sitting quietly, impendingly in my taskbar. Hey. It's not okay. It's just not. Sure man, but just send over your sister first so that I have a model on which to show you. I don't really have an answer for this because I'm not really sure how I would answer it or if it's even a question. I just felt like it was important to recognize it as something worthy of response. Well, I guess I've got the anger in hand now, thanks to someone. Yeah, cool. Nice. But yeah, I will actually do it now. Maybe. I've got these. And they can soften the blow. Just like Oreos, I can just line myself with Oreos. And then any, impact will be marginally lessened by just the crunching Oreos, and then I'm good to go. Labriparto! Probably someone loud and obnoxious. My chair's rather low. But I'm drinking lemonade. Everything in my fridge smells like cucumber, including the bottle that this came in. Sip. I don't even remember there being questions about my blue hair, but I just assumed they were there and I didn't really register them because I found them boring. But since you asked and haven't at all defined what it is you'd like to know, I'll just assume you want to know why I don't have blue hair anymore. Well, I had blue hair from the age of 18 to 22. I had blue hair for 4 years. I got quite sick of it. I got sick of the process of doing it and the process of repeating doing it because it washes out. And one summer I had kind of purpley hair, and then I went out in the sun a lot and it bleached it, and I liked it. So now I have this hair instead. I have to do what I had to do anyway, which is bleach my hair in order to make it blonde, and then to make it blue. That's what I had to do before. Now I just don't have to make it blue, and it's much easier. And another question in my box is about if I'll ever go back to Mousy Brown. I don't really want to do that. I think it makes me look like a mouse even more, and in an unsatisfying, unpleasant manner. So blonde for now. I mostly listen to gaming podcasts. I don't really do much else, although I am intrigued by Guardian Science Weekly and may check that out. So the podcasts I listen to, my favourite podcast ever is called Idle Thumbs. They have a great back catalogue of gaming podcasts that you can read, but unfortunately they stopped making podcasts because they all got successful or whatever, and now they can't do it. Other than that, what I was listening to the other day was the PC Gamer UK podcast. The American one is annoying, but the English one is sort of like listening to a bunch of TF2 nerds talking about a different game, and I quite enjoy that. Gamers with Jobs is another good one. I used to listen to a 1UP podcast, the only good one, but I can't remember what it's called, and it stopped existing about a year, 2 years ago or something. But yeah, I'd be very interested to hear any other podcast recommendations, even though I don't really have the time to listen to them. I sort of like to listen to podcasts when I'm drifting off to sleep, so I tend to miss most of what happens in them. But, yeah. Maybe in the summer I can do other podcast avenues, I can do them. Okay, you're very right in this. I do set high standards for others. From the get-go, before I even really know who they are, which is possibly not helpful for them and our further relationship if they fail to meet those standards. But alas. And the same it goes for me. I am horrible at beating myself up about everything. Mostly related to not doing work and feeling like shit about it, but still not doing work, and then not getting the grades I feel like I should be getting, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. And if I'm a dick, I notice I'm being a dick, and I don't like that. Well, it depends the way in which I'm being a dick. If I'm being a dick to unnecessarily and to a person who does not deserve it, then I feel a recoil at that of my own self, and I notice it happening. So I try very hard to be someone I'd like. I try hard to be someone I'd like, and most of the time I think I do alright, but some of the time I notice that I don't. So all efforts go toward attempting to be wholly somebody I like all of the time. My brother had a gammy rib and had to have an operation on it in order to live past the age of 35. But his gammy rib was slightly different from mine in that his sternum went in like this. It's called pectus excavatum. I don't have that problem so much as just a bunch of ribs down here that like to sort of encroach on my organs for no discernible reason. If you have this same thing, you should go get that checked out and then see what they say and let me know. It might well be that I continue to ignore the fact and just assume it's NP, and that, you know, when I feel it grinding on shit, just ignore that. Yeah, do it. Thanks. I feel like the only time people like rain is if, well, should be, if they have things to do so that they don't feel like there's something better outside, because there's really, really not. There's just a lot of rain and it's cold on you and horrible and unpleasant. So when I have nothing to do, I would much prefer there to be some fucking sun going down. There are people who have, like, an unjustified sort of value in rain. They find a value there because they don't ever have rain themselves. That's generally the only reason people like rain, because they don't get it very much. Or they're just masochists, I don't know. I mean, it's similar with me, because I feel the opposite way. I really fucking love the sun. I love it when it's super hot, because it hardly ever is. But I just feel like that's a much better way to live for everybody. Can't we just get rid of this fucking water from the sky? It's impinging on my lifestyle. Basically, no, and I like it like that. Not that I don't have a future. I'm sure I have a future. I just don't have the first idea what's going on in that future, and I prefer not to. I don't want to be the person who's envisioning themselves in the future doing this thing that they want to do, because I think that's the path to ruin. Just do what you feel like doing at the time. Don't think of it as such a linear progression, although it is. You just can't see what may come at you from any conceivable angle at any given moment in time. So just wait and see what happens. So I've only played a bit of Magicka. I played the demo. But I just want to say right now, nobody should buy me a game. And definitely nobody should buy me a game with the sort of preconception that I have to play them at that game if they buy it for me. I I have a lot of games I want to play, and I don't want to feel any sort of responsibility in that realm, because that realm is quite aside from any responsibility. It should be entirely what I want to do at any given moment. So please don't buy it for me. It's a nice thought and everything, but I'll buy it when it's on sale. Last night I spent considerable amount of time, when I should have been asleep, reading a forum for heroin addicts. And I found out about something called acquirers, which are the middle ground between dealers and like recreational users. And they make a lot of money because said recreational users don't know dealers. But, you know, that means I have to know a dealer, and that's not I'm sure I can find out. Okay, so you get these sort of noobs who like to do some sort of drugs sometimes, kind of hard drugs, expensive drugs, and you charge them a shitload for said drugs, but you're just dealing with kind of regular people who aren't like insane addicts, and you make a lot of money. I think that's probably the best situation to find yourself in, and the least amount of danger. So I guess I'd go to that one. Be an acquirer. I can really sleep in any situation, even if I'm not particularly tired. Okay, so if I'm not particularly tired, this is the only way in which I can relate to you, because I very rarely have any trouble at all sleeping. It's my only skill. Read a book. I'm reading a book. Until you really, I don't know, maybe you can read a book for like 3 hours at night. I can't. I last an hour max. Otherwise, put on some sort of lecture series and have it just quiet, like quite quiet, so that you have to really focus to listen to it, and then you will maybe drift off. Those are my 2 tips, but I don't have very many because I'm so fucking great at being asleep. Let's pretend you didn't say reshooting and just say the first time it was made who I would like to be. I'd take Cate Blanchett's role in The Aviator as Katharine Hepburn, because it seemed like a really fun role to play. I don't know if I'll be able to do it anywhere near as good, but give it a go. Give it a bash. I like Dara Ó Briain in the same way I like Drew Carey presenting Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think I have a genuine fondness towards him when he's sort of presenting things, but I don't find him very funny. Whereas Frankie Boyle can be funny, but as I talked about, his Tramadol Nights is abysmal. So I guess I'll choose Frankie Boyle. I don't know, I guess I'll choose Frankie Boyle. Cardigan or hoodie? I really like cardigans, but hoodies provide me with a source of comfort that I just can't get anywhere else. Cardigans are cool because you can put one on and kind of look not like a mess. And that's something that's useful to me. Pasta or rice? Rice. I hardly ever eat pasta unless you count noodles as pasta. Like Japanese noodles-y-ness. So rice, because I don't think that does count as pasta, really. Bastard or McFly, really? Jesus Christ. They're both as loathsome as each other. I'll say busted, because I think they were first, and that sort of means something, maybe. I really liked Power Rangers a lot, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles it had a better mythos to it, and I really liked, I don't know, I liked the whole living in the sewers, and I did like it, so I think I'll choose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mario, Sonic, Running Up Time, shit! I was a Sonic kid. Since then I obviously play Mario much more. Sonic 2 was great and I loved it, but I think maybe on the whole Mario has more to show. Red or blue? Blue! Jesus Christ, get off my back, will you? Yes, it's done. Although I did notice, as I was handing it in, 15 minutes before the deadline, that I'd forgotten entirely to do a conclusion and had to write it all up very quickly as people sort of attempted to distract me in the most dickish manner possible. I'll read some of it to you just to prove that it's done. Okay. Oh, I really don't wanna do that, but here it is. Here's the front page, and there's 4 pages. Fucking Hall effect. Check it out. Alright, it said I was balanced equally between estrogen and testosterone in the womb. But it's entirely based on the length of these 2 fingers. That whole page, nothing else you enter has any bearing on it. It's just talking about these. How much longer am I going to do that for? I don't know. Yep, it's quite an achievement. I feel like Wolfram Alpha as a website is going to be a big deal in the future. It started out not so hot, didn't quite do what everyone hoped it would do, but it's definitely heading more in that direction and is very intriguing to me. Plus, Mr. Wolfram is massively dickish in how much smartness he is hogging over there in his brain. What a dick. Second time I've been asked this on the internet. Pretty insane. But I'm gonna answer because you're a chick and we don't get many of those in these parts. So I used this stuff, which is like really cheap. I think it's about £3, and it has a thing that means it's very easy to draw a straight line because it's like that. Good luck to you, Bella. That whole thing is a pretty rad idea, but I'm rather peeved that it's only open to teachers, people who are currently teachers. That's pretty shit. I would definitely do it otherwise. I heard about Charlie Sheen's live Ustream show about an hour before it happened, and I put it up on my second monitor. I was anticipating it happily. I was excited to see what he would do after his humorous interviews and such like. Unfortunately, I was gravely disappointed in the complete lack of funny and just really odd setup. Him sort of bouncing unfunniness off of his lackeys who were laughing heartily at nothing and reflecting attempted memes off each other with a sort of disarming desperation. And I felt like I saw what Charlie Sheen really was that night, and it was just a huge disappointment, and I haven't seen a second one, but it was so fucking boring. I'm not particularly enthralled. I don't feel like I particularly squandered it. I wasn't sure how you were supposed to make the most of something like that. It was all fairly happenstance and a bit strange and a bit funny. I answered questions still, but yeah. I have, unfortunately, other more impending issues to contend with. Much as I'd like to devote 100% of my time to aspects of internet, I can only spend 20% of time, and of 20%, probably more than that. Anyway, basically the percentages didn't add up for me to be able to just sit here answering questions all the long day. Alas. I'm not going to talk about most embarrassing moments because I don't feel you've done anything to earn that. But as far as other girls go, the best story I could ever hope to tell on VU/the internet at large involves me at the age of 9 years old being asked, well, forced to run around the playground while another girl gave me a purple nurple. I don't know why. I don't know why it happened. I have no recollection of the why. I just remember it happening. And that's the best I have to offer, I think. I think it's quite good. Medium rare and juicy with blood. Stevie Carter is my Steam name. And when I was trying to think of a Steam name 6 years ago, my little brother was telling me a story about this kid that him and his friends bullied. And this kid turned to them, and his rebuke for everything they had done and everything they had said was, "Science is against you." And his name was Stevie Carter. I don't really have dreams in terms of possible career directions. I think that's what's usually meant or inferred when you talk about your dream. Is it? I don't know. I'm taking it as such, seeing as you've mentioned I found my calling in relation to it. I always do this and like do loads. It's supposed to just be one. speech marks within speech marks within speech marks. So I don't have dreams, I just have fitful whims that strike me from moment to moment, essentially. Not moment to moment, but stretched over a longer time scale. Moments aren't defined in time. So, from moment to moment. No, moments are generally meaning short distances. Let's stretch it out on the old x-axis, and we have ourselves an accurate portrayal of the current world that I live in. Initially, my sort of thought answer was yes, of course, but then I remember that there's this guy who walks up and down the road sometimes who likes to stop and talk to the sky sometimes, and I think if he fainted, I would just assume it was it's for the best. I once tripped on a Subway sandwich while I was walking down the road. One of the higher comedic moments in my entire life. Nobody stopped to help me. I feel like nobody noticed. It very much seemed like nobody noticed, but they might have just been averting their eyes, as is probably recommended in that situation. So if they seemed like they needed my help and weren't raving lunatics, then yes. Yep. Piece of shit. Piece of shit game. Fucking depressed me. I sat here, I played it, I was like this. My speakers don't like it either. My speakers do that when they're unhappy. You can hear them doing it. It was horrible and not a good experience and horrifically depressing and everything bad in the world. I saw this video yesterday. All of the footage coming out at the moment from Battlefield 3 is very nice and good and exciting. What's very central to this is the fact it's all gameplay footage and it looks really fun. I'm not so psyched, well, I'm not really at all psyched on single player mode, but multiplayer is going to be it's going to be good, I think. I have a good feeling. Well, basing on how it looks good. And I read a interview with a guy from DICE who was very reassuring indeed, referred to the core audience in not just that manner and in something that felt like more than just a lip service-y way. Well, it was. I'm sure. See, I'm excited. You can tell. So yeah, I'm really excited about Battlefield 3, and I think it's going to be super fun. I probably will need to upgrade, although based on what was being used in that video, apparently it's not too hungry and will run nicely on affordable sort of hardware. I will need to upgrade, I don't doubt really, to have a good experience and not just feel like I'm a bit of a cripple child. So I've never really I haven't upgraded for a particular game, but when I upgrade, I do save games until I upgrade, so I haven't played Metro 2033, and I think there's a few others I haven't played, but like The Witcher 2, Red Orchestra 2, Battlefield 3, those are the main games that I feel are gonna fucking very much warrant to the point of undeniability and upgrade, and that's gonna be quite soon. So, yeesh. Excited though. Just got out of the shower. I buy all my games for the PC. I buy them almost exclusively through Steam because I really like Steam. I think people downloading games is a bit shitty. It's very detrimental to anybody who wants to continue playing games on PC. I will encourage developers to develop for PC as much as they possibly can, and that involves buying the games, although I do buy a lot of them in Steam sales. But still, I do torrent or download DS games because that platform has absolutely no problems right now or ever, is absolutely thriving, and plus I would never pay upward £20 upward for a DS game. Is just obscene. I download music too because I find out Basically, if a band comes to the UK or is in the UK and they are touring, I will go and see them and I'll pay money to see their band. And I find out about bands that I wouldn't have any idea about otherwise, just because I can download their music and listen to them and decide if I like them. And I think it's a good thing. So I'm not really like it about any other piracy apart from PC game piracy, basically. I didn't know what this was until I just did a Google search, and I don't think I have that, but I can see where you're coming from. I changed it. You're welcome. Shrove Tuesday went by pancakeless. I had nary a pancake and I have nobody but myself to blame. Do you like these close-ups? I'm being artistic. Oh. If I talk in a game, people will assume I'm a small child, a small boy who ought to be in bed, and they will tell me I ought to be in bed. I'm actually at a severe disadvantage until I correct them, which feels douchey. And then they are liable to over-medic me in order to... if you just, you know, and then just go lie on the road for a while, someone will pick you up. I think, like, even aside from the obvious new iteration that is 10 times better than the one you will buy if you adopt early, even aside from that, I don't think that the 3DS is worth it. I played it at a event organised by Nintendo in a warehouse, and I wasn't taken with it. I liked the bit where I got to shoot at my own head, and my own head was sort of coming at me from all angles and had stupid facial region. That entertained me, but it doesn't have much longevity. There are some games now that I would like to play, but I don't know if I'd play them in 3D, especially as most of them are at 30 FPS, and it's a bit like 3D is a slight eye rape as it is, and then bring in 30 FPS and it just becomes unpleasant. So I would say Ixnay on the Nintendo S-Day nay. Do the 40 minutes span the gamut of rape? I was quite surprised by the amount of rape in that film, and I watched it with my parents, which meant I wasn't even allowed to jerk off. I don't like it when I do that, so, you know, you have to sometimes respect other people and their whims, however selfish they may be. I really liked the first, I don't know, some percentage of the film, and then it just went a little bit, but as specified, I only watched it once with my parents, can jerk off, and probably would need to watch it again in order to ascertain the good/badness. In general, director's cuts are better. Ply her constantly with the date rape drug, and not only will she be yours for the taking, but she won't hassle you about anything ever again. I don't think anyone should be asking advice from me about hair. Look, what is this? I can do this, and it does that. Okay. My hair is hay. Look. It looks like hay and it feels like hay most of the time. Some of the time. And plus, long. This isn't really long, and this is the longest I've had it since I was 13. So I can tell you my methods, but they have little validity. And shaking hands. They have no shaking hands. That was just an unnecessary addition I threw in for free. Plus, my hair was just tied up and it just bust on out. Well, I do use very cheap plastic things to tie my hair up, and they do break often. So let's not jump to too many conclusions. I wash my hair about every 3 days. This is 4 days no washing, and it needs a wash. What's your hair setup? I think that counts, but even if you told me, that wouldn't enlighten me to enlighten you, so I'm really no expert on this topic. I've never been on a dating site, but I think if I was a guy and I wasn't immediately striking, I would do that and hope for the best. I'm really glad I'm not a guy or a full-on lesbo, because Jesus Christ, is it slim pickings. Look around the internet and there are some good pickings, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel sorry for you, and I'm really glad I'm not you. And good luck in every one of your endeavours. I'm reading Infinite Jest currently. It's a long haul with me in books because I don't, you know, I'm so busy. Look at me being so fucking busy right now. Jesus. So, you know, I'm yay far through the book. I don't know, some length of yay. And I really like it. I think it's awesome. Mostly just the way it's written, I dig. Well, not mostly that, but substantially that. It's very, very appealing to me and makes me want to carry on writing my thing that I'm writing, kind of. Well, obviously my views are very important to me, and as such I'll have a new video up within the next 7 days. Just wait and see, it'll be there. I don't really like this question, it borders on the gross. How often do I play with subscribers/viewers? If people want to add me on Steam and follow me into a game sometime, that's perfectly fine and good, and it's happened before and it's fun. Because it's a fucking game and that's what it's supposed to be, and they are most of the time. So if you want to do that, then by all means, do it. A lot of people seem to add me on Steam just to sort of watch me exist, which I understand entirely. Who wouldn't want to do that? You spelled that wrong and I hate you. Why? I'm no less than 7,840 feathers. I worked that out. It is based entirely around my timetable. My university timetable. Mostly. So I will go to bed the latest I possibly can go to bed in order to ascertain my required roughly 8 hours sleep. I really like the night and I like being awake at night, and that kinda is annoying when I want to just be alive in the night and not get up at stupid AM. And it's a tough life. If it was me, I'd be feeling quite ashamed by now. Well, mild shame. I'd have some mild shame. As it is, I'm just somewhat disappointed. I saw it for the first time at the weekend, and it just lacks any kind of pizzazz, and I don't see why it has to lack any kind of pizzazz. And it was a disappointment. It just felt like I was watching a particularly stiff live kids Saturday morning TV show that tried to inject some surface amount of politics. It was weird. I'd like to think this isn't true, but it depends entirely upon, I mean, not that I'm particularly going to be necessarily be his teacher. It's crossed my mind in the past because it has massive holidays. This is a great reason to go into it, and the pay. But the stress, a little bit. Nah. So if I taught primary school kids, yes, they would be getting booted across the room very quickly, you know, soon after my arrival. Woo! Splat. I think that's what kids do. I think they splat. So I would have to teach older kids, like college age, and then I probably wouldn't abuse them, but again, that's just a hope really, isn't it? Yeah, it's a phase. Do you like electronic music? Because that's what grown-ups listen to, isn't it? They don't like guitars anymore. No, I love hardcore, and I love pop punk and variations thereof. It's my favourite kind. Yes? No? Yes? No? I'm sorry, that's probably really loud. Depends how you want to look at it. I had 2 brothers, so it was a bit shit. Like, anything you got free, it had to be split 3 ways. And that really just meant you had to wait a really long time to get anything that came free. So we'd get the Beano and add free sweets. Fucking awesome. Check out this drumstick lolly. No, put it in the drawer until we have 3 of them. We can have 1 each. Jesus Christ. It takes a long time. We had a drawer of sweets and none of us even went there. That's how we were disciplined. Well, really, that's how scared we were of our dad. That's what it says. So my favourite ever thing that was free in a box of cereal was those things that you put on your bike, on your wheel, and they go around, and I think they were fluorescent. No. I've always found Russell Brand extremely annoying, and every aspect of him is annoying to me. But I saw an interview he did with Jeremy Paxman, and during that spell, during the time I was watching that interview, I thought, hey, he's good. He's pretty good. But now I can't even imagine how I could ever think that. I'm sure if I watched it again, I would again come to the same conclusion, but Jesus Christ. I saw an advert for this Easter Bunny trailer to the Easter Bunny film where he is voicing the Easter Bunny. I can't believe it's real. No, I haven't avoided that. So I'm on my computer like this. From this angle, fine, no big deal. From this angle, I have the hunch on. The hunch is on. Is it not? It's slightly undeniable. So I do that. Sometimes I sort of sit straight for a while and yeah, I'm buckled up for this internet and no harm doing. So then I'm like this, yeah, and then it's just like, So I imagine I'll be one of those old ladies who is doubled up, like so. Well, it's quite possible I'll be in London at the time. And I find it difficult to comprehend the current levels of absolute people saturation, especially in tubes. And I fail completely to imagine or expect what it's going to be like when Olympics 2012 rolls around. Shit. The AWP. In Counter-Strike, the AWP. The AWP in Counter-Strike, the AWP. The AWP in Counter-Strike, and I don't think they're troll-facing, and that makes it so much worse. Sorry, keep forgetting this. Yeah, I'm very much more excited than I was before I saw the gameplay trailers, let's say that. I think I already talked about this, I feel like I did. But yeah, it looks good, it looks like it will be fun. And I've only just realised I've already answered this question, so I'm answering it again. It looks like it will be deserving, and I sure hope that it proves that it is. Or else. Not all of the Earl has pasted properly into the thing, but I'm not filled with great hope about this, as it has fan pop in there, and that rarely holds much promise. I keep being told that I look like Laura Marling, including tonight in real life, which I'm not best pleased about either. Yes. Yep. Yes. Yep. So people at university are now able to come up to me. I never thought this would happen. I thought the possibility was tiny, but it's happened several times. Discussions are even put forth. References are made. Rose, when are you going to make a new video? No. But yeah, that happened. Fuck. Aside from that, I once made a video addressed to this guy who taught me film a bit at college. Taught me film, did a class, something. And I made a long, extensive video. I don't remember how long it was because I've deleted it because it was annoying. But it was all about Mac versus PC and everything he'd ever said and everything I'd ever said and the arguments we'd had at the time about it. So I put it up, whatever, about 3 years ago, and I was at home at Christmas, and I was walking down the aisle in a supermarket. Rose? Turn around. Oh shit, it's the guy. Hey, Tony. We talked for a while. My brother was there, and he knew him as well, so we caught up and shit. And I thought, hey, maybe he didn't watch it. And I was just looking at him like, maybe he didn't see it. It's possible. But then he mentioned it, the YouTube thing. He mentioned it, And I was like, yeah. But he said he liked it and was touched by it, which was baffling. But again, very weird. Every mix is weirding. There's also other things involving search terms and my name. Fortunately, you guys don't know my name. My family do. Bit of a bummer. Fear. Just terror. I'm afraid to fail, and that's why I learn things. Basically the only reason. Is it? It might be. I'm interested in these things when I don't have to learn them. When I have to learn them, it's like, but then it's like exams, and that's the point where I have to look at it all. Just motivated by fear. Ow. I actually can't do it because it hurts too much. Yeah. Schnell. Schnell. Fucking Schnell. Why does the winking face exist? It exists as a creepy piece of shit. All it's done for your question is make it creepy. I think foreign people use them because they don't really understand. Maybe it's different in their language. But in my language, the winking face is a creepo. Look at him. What is he implying there? His presence implies things about me, and I don't like it. Just ixnay on the inking ace way fey. Man, is that, I've never done this before I made that other video, but I guess now it's embedded deeply. Schnell. Is this a real question? I can't tell if this is a real question. Yeah, I'm up this late because I like the night. I've even mentioned this in the past, haven't I? Yeah. Maybe you should go back and watch every single one of my videos before you even deign to ask a new one. JK. But the fact that you've asked in that manner makes me feel like you feel like you're familiar enough with me to ask why I'm up this late. As if that's out of character in some regard, when it's really not. In the vaguest least. Tomorrow I have to be up at, well, I have to be in a lecture at 10 AM. I'm sort of trying to make myself feel like I would be a good human if I went to bed. I mean, my bed's just there. It doesn't seem like that much of a task, really, does it? But for some reason, there's this wall that I have to sort of scale, and it takes an effort just to go to bed, and it's like... Tomorrow I have to do a bunch of things as well. I have to go to university for 4 hours, and I'm going out in the evening. So, sort of thinking, should I just stay up and then have a nap tomorrow? But that's the worst, most stupid idea. Naps work sometimes, but it's a risk. And if I just went to bed now, or half an hour ago, then that wouldn't even have to factor into the equation. So what am I doing up this late? Precisely nothing, as is almost always the case. But I love it so much. What are you even saying? I don't know what you're trying to say. I spoke a language, and there was nothing that wasn't proper about that, so... You're ginger as well, so I don't know where you get off. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. It just means that whatever you just said now means something else. It's like a double entendre maker, but it's directed at the person. Is this just me who feels like this about it? Fuck. If you use winking faces, especially if you use them like with chicks, just quit it. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to anybody who happens to watch this. Just please don't ever do it. It's disgusting. Unless you really want to fucking cyberbone them. Because then, I think that goes down really well. No. Because who the fuck are you, really? Why would I trust anything you said? You can't lend me a ladder. It'd have to be a metaphorical ladder that wouldn't be a ladder, because the wall itself was a ladder, so the wall itself wasn't a ladder, the wall itself was a metaphor. If I did like an English degree, I'm sure I wouldn't have fucked that up right there. Yeesh. Am I right? I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to be one of those people who says, am I right, about things. It's a little bit used up. It's bitter lemon. I love this shit. Look, it's nearly run dry. The bitter lemon's running dry. I buy like a bottle, yay big. You have no way of judging that, do you? It's somewhat big, and it's 53 pence. Buy it on the way home from school, stick it in the fridge, and that's my drink for a few days. Just bitter lemon. It's fucking delicious. I don't really know what people mean when they say they have no personality. I feel like that's an actual, literal impossibility. So, you like things, and those things that you like affect you in some way, and they make you something. I feel like that's why I am the way I am. Various things happen to me, and look at me now. So maybe you just need some serious trauma, and you'll be fashioned. I was just talking about how Mac is incredibly overpriced. Basically, that's my only problem with Macs, apart from the fact I would never use them because of the horrible interface that feels like plasticine in some way. Everything thinks you're retarded on a Mac. Aside from that, if they were just regular priced, that would be fine by me, but it's the fact that they're no better than equal hardwared PC that's so much cheaper. So you're just buying into the label. That's what I don't like. I feel like I'm not a good e-friend to even my actual friends who are also in E, because, I don't know, when I'm on the internet I just mostly, I don't mind talking to someone if I find a link that's funny, or they find a link that's funny and there's something to talk about, but generally I'm not like chattity chat on the interwebs. I'm just doing other things. So my internet heart is black and cold. I think what you're saying is that if you study physics, it's unlikely that you'll indulge in things that are screwy fantasy. So that's how I've deciphered your question. What the fuck, man? Physics is the realm of the nerd. Go into any class, ask the people. Well, just tell them I think it's unlikely that you'd enjoy video games. And also, science fiction. Absolute screwy fantasy based on physics. I don't even know. Maybe I've completely misread your question. No, I don't realise it. What's that on your left arm? What the fuck is this? It's not coming off. I don't know. When would that have happened? I guess it's permanent marker and someone's just thought that'd be hilarious to do. I'll just have a shower later. It's like when someone tells a joke and then and then the person they're telling it to feels the need to explain to the person who told the joke what the joke means. People are stupid, you're an idiot. At some point, every single wacky question began to involve the apocalypse. For why? For why? Do you care? Zombies, mimes, robots, and kittens. I suppose you just hoped that I'd say something interesting. But I'm sorry, buddy, it's not gonna happen. No, but Connie Huck ruined Charlie Brooker. Hi, I present Blue Peter. And then Charlie Brooks. Charlie Brooks is an embittered man, and he's ugly and fat. That's what he's supposed to be. Why has he got to try and be happy and get married and be slick and successful? The whole premise is broken. I really like Notepad. That's probably a weird one now. I think probably lots of people like Notepad. It has a certain charm to it. So I like Notepad. Steam. Steam is an obvious choice here. I feel like this is not a good question. I mean, it's a good question, but I don't feel like I can do it any justice. Because there's nothing really out of the ordinary. VLC, just basic shit that's of no real, you know, there's no pizzazz or wow here. It's just pure functionality, which is what the PC does very well. Alright, so I can't live without Steam. I can live without Steam. I can live without him. I can live without my computer, but no. Just no. Sorry, I guess. I really like my screensaver. FLIQLO, and it's the clock one. I think that's a great screensaver. It makes your computer a clock. Not a very energy efficient clock, but by golly if you don't wake up and see right away what the fuck the time is. The capital letters and the smiley face make me feel this is my mum. Yeah, Mum, I get it, yeah, I'm beautiful, okay. Just stop it. We've been over this. Just stop coming on to me and just leave me alone. I'm not alone, just look. I've got a talk physics bag which has a pen in it, and a sandwich box, and a Dr. Pepper pencil case. Jesus, man, relax. Don't just go falling all over you. Okay, so when I was a kid, making shit websites to put my shit on, like, you know, 14, 15, 16, I used Notepad to write the HTML because I really enjoyed that shit. The problems with VLC, apart from it likes to update a lot and just, it also really likes to fucking build its font cache recently, and I don't care about its font cache, and we should shut up. But at Christmas it had a small Christmas hat, Santa hat, on its little cone icon, and I really liked that. Okay, it was a good run, but I'm gonna go to bed now. Night! When I stand near someone, it's usually because the tube is so crammed that I had no option other than to be pressed, sort of, rather impolitely into somebody's armpit or whatever. So there's not usually a lot of choice involved in that, and I can't really regret it, apart from thinking, oh, I could have got another carriage, but really they're all equally stuffed, and I would be standing in somebody's armpit regardless. So, people I regret sitting next to exist, and usually they are eating food. One guy in particular who strikes me as the worst person in the world was eating sausage roll after sausage roll out of a plastic Tupperware box that he kept opening, getting one sausage roll out, eating noisily, then putting it all back, like, no, I'm not having another one. But he kept having another one, and that never stopped, and I actually got out and went and sat somewhere else. Yeah, she's probably banging him right now, and then spinning you a bunch of really consistent, believable lies. So just get it over with. Get her out the way. My local Chinese takeaway is a buffet, and isn't actually owned by Chinese people anymore. But at least it's very definitely halal now, because that's put a big series of relief smashes all over my face. So I order whatever I feel like scooping into my pot, which is usually everything. I especially like the prawns. Prawns are good. What's a man check? The idea intrigued me so much that I even have that in my Google search thing, man check. The only thing that came up I could see was relating to kicking a guy in the balls and checking he's a man in a distinctly unman-ishly moment, which I don't do to myself before I leave the house. I'm very gentle with my balls. No, but the idea is very humorous to me. If it ever came to fruition, I would be unhappy, probably. But the abstract idea right now, quite nice and funny. Okay, can we do this without breaking the world? Let's see. Okay. Should I do... I'll just do this maybe. There's a drink. Some stuff on my lips, because they got fucked. Some blades to whip up some smoothies. Don't know why it's over here. USB flash thing, which is actually a micro SD thing, which is for DS, which is not mine. Green pen. Woo! Honey. Don't know why that's here. There's a dreadful story about honey that maybe I'll tell if someone asks. The honey that preceded this honey saw a dreadful fate. This kind of has my name on it, and I kind of like it. Rouse. Gonna apply for a Tesco Club card. That's exciting, isn't it? Yep. A small spoon that goes in this mug that I got from someone at university for Christmas. Speaker. Some face junk. Speaker. A mouse. A mug that I made on the internet. Some chopsticks. A pen! Woohoo! It's not actually a very good pen. I borrowed it from someone when I was in lab and I haven't given it back. Whoops. More face junk. A knife. My headphones. A toothbrush that I haven't fully transitioned to yet. Vitamins. Some vitamins. Delicious. A bank thing. I just lost my car yesterday. Woo! And that's about it. Thus concludes your tour of my desk. In what way? Are we talking about face off? Or are we talking about like when you're a kid and you sell your soul and you get money and someone has a bit of paper and you feel a bit weird and bad about it for a while, but in the end you forget? Either way, probably not, but clarification would be delightful. I could never do that. I would never do that. Well, possibly I would do it if I had a shit ton of money and felt guilty one day. Or just, had a shit ton of money. Felt guilty. No, just a shit ton of money. Felt guilty. Shit ton of money. Guilt. Money. guilt, £1,000. Have it. Give it to those kids. Well, they look like they've been eating quite a lot. So maybe just put some money into a good Weight Watchers scheme over there. I don't have enough money to do that with. And Red Nose Day is really annoying to me. I don't know. Am I a bad person? It's not. It's just like kind of bad comedy in between do-goody do-goods telling me to do good. Nah. I have no idea. I hadn't noticed. I don't like that that's happened. Who are you? Why have you done it? What does it mean? I don't have a Facebook. What happens when someone likes something? Does it show up as they like this? And then other people are like, oh, this is something that is defining this person because they like it. Is that what you think when you press like on something and you know everyone's going to see what it is you like? Come forward. Tell me who you are. Yes, because that's something I've only ever heard Carol Vorderman be referred to as. I know full well what kind of question this is, but I am myself intrigued because I was on an internet forum and I saw a gif of Mila Kunis doing it. I didn't feel like trying at the time. But here we go. Okay, I have a hand. It's quite big, look. Compare. So, here we go, ready? How do you do it? Do you do this? I can't remember. Do you do it? Do it like this. No, I can't do that. I hate spoilers. I hate spoilers. I think I've said this on here before, and that's why you might be asking. I hate spoilers so much. If I hear a spoiler, I can't let it go. I just think about it and how it's changed completely my perception of a book or a film or a TV series. My dad is the absolute fucking worst of them. I think it's a combination of that and the fact that when I was a kid I was really loving this book I was reading, and then I just read the last page and found out what happened, and I was really like not happy with what happened, and I wondered if I'd actually read through it I would have been happy with that ending, and I would never know. That really affected me. And my dad, you can't talk to my dad about anything. Like, I remember when we were kids, me and my brothers, we read through Lord of the Rings. Every time he'd ask where we were, we'd tell him, and then he'd say, oh, so you've just, No, that hasn't happened yet, but thanks. Everything, every possible anything, he doesn't know when the order things happening is. What the order things happening is. I have a cold and I sound like a massive retard, and I'm talking like a massive retard. Continuing on nonetheless. So yeah, I hate spoilers a lot. I don't even like it when people read the back of books I'm reading. I don't read the back of book I'm reading. I don't want to know what the blurb is and the synopsis. Even if it's just, you know, the beginning 100 pages of the book. I don't want to do that. And people read the back and they say, oh, this. Oh no, don't tell me a spoiler! But it's on the back of the book. Be quiet! And major dissatisfaction, bad times. There's no agreeable furniture with which I can demonstrate my absolute lack of ability when it comes to such a thing as a pull-up. I will just writhe slightly in mid-air. There's nothing happening, but I'm straining and shaking. And, no upward motion though. No defeat of any sort of gravity. Just a eel writhing in the air. I don't really feel like I have any basis on which to grade any kind of keyboard. My keyboard is really cheap. I think it's about £8. I like it because it's really slimline and quite quiet. But it is breaking, and I'm fighting the urge to buy a more expensive keyboard. There's one part of me that thinks, okay, keyboard is really, massively important piece of hardware. It's what you interface with, and if you have a good keyboard, it can actually, not fuck up your hands, and it's gonna last probably longer than any single piece of hardware you put in your computer. But on the other hand, this keyboard is fine.
but people say that about their shitty video cards, so I don't know quite what I'm missing. I don't need like the kind of macro shit you can have on a good keyboard because I don't really play RTS. So that's probably what's making me not do that. But I don't know. No, I probably shouldn't buy a nice keyboard. I have this mouse, Logitech MX518, which I like a great deal. It has DPI switching. I always keep it on the highest DPI unless I can't be bothered to change the sensitivity manually, and then I just do that as a shortcut. Like, I was playing Disc Dash the other day on the internet, and I needed to downgrade the sensitivity, and I just used that, but it wasn't actually enough, so I actually had to go and, well, it wasn't that it wasn't enough, it wasn't, the resolution wasn't small enough for that to be a good idea. Yeah, I use the side buttons for just scrolling internet forward, backward, and whatnot, and sometimes I assign them for things like second weapons. And when I was playing Left 4 Dead, a lot of my friends, we went back when we used Vent instead of Mumble. I had to always use push to talk because it basically didn't work otherwise, and I set this button to push to talk, and I just destroyed my hand. My hand was so tense, I was like, and still kept it for a really long time though, because I kind of liked the idea, even though it didn't work at all. I fucking love dubstep! No, dubstep's shit. Biff from Back to the Future said he likes my videos, and that was the crowning moment of my life. Yep, it should be. It's weird. I think it's mostly down to the distributors, though, and not wanting to particularly undercut the retail sector. So, yeah, it's weird, and when it happens, I buy it in the the shop. I go to the shop, and I buy some tea. I don't go to the shop for the games ever. I'll order them from Amazon, if that's the case. Here's the story. There was a weird kid at school with very wide eyes, and he liked to show people, I don't know, torture videos, because he really liked them a lot. That's in itself, you know, kind of standard, growing up on the internet, slightly fucked. But you kind of went beyond that with the staring eyes. The staring eyes were really the thing that set him apart. Anyway, one day, he had me on Steam. That was good. I was glad about that. Glad that happened. Glad he got my Steam. And he had me on Steam, and he messaged me on Steam and said, "Bro, I can't believe, I never thought I'd find anyone that I knew on this website." And I was like, "What website?" And he linked me to a website called something like, I don't know, fetish, fuck, anal, some shit. Fuck some shit.com. And there was pictures of me everywhere. And somebody was saying they were me and getting guys to mutilate themselves and their dicks on webcam. It was there were random chat transcripts. He felt like he should put up there to really get across what it was he wanted. And no, of course that person's not going to go on webcam ever. You don't deserve it, you worm, but bash your dick to pieces on webcam for me and A-okay, good times. So that was happening with my face, because of my face. Dick bashing. I've cut my own hair for about 6 years. I haven't cut, this hair has not had a scissor to it in nigh on a year or something, and it's seriously in need of that kind of shit. I was standing outside Topshop on Oxford Street waiting for someone, and somebody came up and said, "Hey, do you want a free haircut? Actually, we'll pay you to get your haircut." And I was like, "Neat, that sounds good." So then I went, the next day I had to go to Vidal Sassoon to go and get checked out by the hair-cutting guy who was super famous. People were taking pictures of him. And he was like, "Yeah," from across the room. And then someone came and looked all in my hair for nits or something. I don't know. And then they said, "Yeah." And I said, so what hair is it going to be?" And they showed me a picture of the worst hair in the fucking world. Shoreditch wanker times 10 to the power 8. Like, bowl cut, you suck a dick, you're horrible, I hate you, and you're me with that hair. Shit. So I said, well, how much do I get paid? And they said £20. And I said, I'll see you later. And I got the hell out of there. And that was the last time that any sort of possible hair cutting was maybe going to happen. I should do it soon, it's just, I'm so busy. I mean, I have things to do, and that means I don't do other things. Like get my hair cut. But I kind of want to get it cut by a student for cheap. Like £5. Yep. Story has a lot of good things going on, I'm not denying that, but she has a bad thing, which is hee. I don't like her weird giggles. It's not what I want to see. Sasha Grey wins, in my book. She does the gagging thing though, don't do that. Hi Sasha Grey, you're certainly watching this video. Don't do the gagging thing, it's a bit upsetting, and stop doing all the super weird shit. And just, I don't know what that was, but certainly do it. It's gonna hurt me, it's gonna kill when you desert me. This happened to me twice before, I won't let it happen anymore. I know I should get next to you, fool. You got a look that makes me think you're cool, but it's just sexual attraction, not something real, so I'd rather keep a whacking. Why bother? It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna kill when you desert me. This happened to me twice before. Won't let it happen anymore. Okay, spell my name right. I'm sure that'll help. That'll get you on the right track. It's a Y, not an IE. Other than that, just try and entertain yourself in any situation and all of the time. Well, it depends where you live. If you live where I live, I'm sure if I went outside and just sat on the road, then a torrent of amusement would befall my existence. Right on my existence, I'm sure. So, location dependent. You're on the internet as well, like, the fuck? Why, yes I do. So I had this honey that I got from my father. My father gave me this honey because, amazingly, the postcode on the honey, it was sort of local honey, and he found out that it was actually farmed from a neighbour's garden, like, a few doors down this guy lived. So my dad thought it would be rather quaint to give me this honey that was actually flowers from their garden. Nice. The honey was really good, but it granulated, as honey tends to do. And it advised on the packet that you put it in hot water, like in a jar, or you put it in a microwave. I thought, well, I'm in my bedroom and the heater's there, so I put it on the heater. I would intermittently check on honey, it's not quite liquidy enough yet, I want to get this down to the last nobule of honey granulation. And so I left it, and then I thought, no, it's time for some honey now. So I picked the honey up. I'm looking at this honey a lot, you can't see it. So the lid was off because I'd been looking at the honey a lot to check if it was yet liquidized. So I picked it up, and it sort of picked up because it was stuck, but then it sort of went, whoa, and spilled all over my arm. Hot honey, I was like, didn't know what to do, it's quite hot, fuck! Just stood there, it cooled down. And I was like, okay, good, I'm not, burnt in the first degree. It's okay, but there's honey all over my floor, and it took ages to clear up, and I was sticky the whole day, and my jeans are sticking to my legs. And I missed the lecture as well because I had to spend the time cleaning the honey up from the floor before it just hardened and was impossible to clean up. And it took like 5 goings over to get it all up. It's horrific. Film should be made. I feel like gusto in a face palm is sort of missing the point. Like, it needs to be a resigned sort of acknowledgement of what the world really is. So, like, an angry face palm doesn't work, isn't right. I don't want to do my own face palm when it's not genuine. Sorry. The realistic budgetary range within which my birthday presents can fall doesn't really enclose anything I want or need. I mean, some things would be nice, like some chocolate maybe, and some money that I can buy some things with, like some small things, a small amount of money that I'll get. But if I had like a really rich relative, I would ask for many things, I think. Really nice keyboard, basically a new computer, even though now is a bit of a stupid time to buy a new computer. I would, if I had a rich relative, why the fuck not, huh? So, failed. We went to a museum called the Pangolin, I think. An odd name though, some sort of mesh of those letters. And it was to see some beast sculptures. It turned out it was quite a small room which you could see entirely through the window on the way in. Eyes were averted and we looked at some things and they were quite nice, but it was quite small. And we were like, And then on the way out, we noticed like as we walked out, there was a stream of women with instruments walking to the right in this large building. And we just followed them down some escalators, past people just sipping wine, like rows of glasses, bunches of people all the way down. And everybody seemed affluent and, like, impressive on some level. And everyone had name tags around their necks, saying who they were, what they were doing. And we just sort of followed the flow and ended up in a room which the other room was being broadcast into because this was a smaller room we were in. We just walked into a room and nobody asked who we were or why we didn't have tags, because nobody thought anybody could be so coarse as to just walk in without having the appropriate requirements. I don't know, we didn't know, we just walked in. So we watched on a screen Jude Law talking about some shit, Goldie conducting an orchestra, some shit, weird, entertaining way to spend an afternoon. Then we went away, and later on when we got home we found out that the tickets for that thing were £65 each. Wow. Wahahauza. I do actually want to do this, I do plan to do this. I don't know who Tabascus is, I know who iJustine is, but didn't know she did that kind of thing. I'm a bit surprised and a bit cynical about it. But maybe in the future. Well, 1 year for Christmas, 2 years ago, maybe 3, I purchased for my brother a gift that was those things. I hit myself in the eye and it really hurt. I'm starting to feel quite bad. It's like berry pills that make sour things taste sweet. I'm sure a quick Google search with those sort of concepts will give rise to, I think apparently they're being squashed by this. Corporations! I don't know, people say that. I've heard people say that, I don't know if it's true. Ooh-wee. So yeah, I had one of those pills, ate it, and then could drink literally vinegar from the bottle. And it tasted quite nice. I don't really know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna expose some weird shit about my hands. Well, it's a little bit lackluster, possibly. Okay, I have this thing. Where is it? Here. You can't even. Can you see it? Kinda. See this weird lump here? I don't have it on the. Well, I do a little bit, but not as much. There you go. So, this is because I write with a pen every day like this. I have a stupid. I do this. Yep, this pen is not getting away from me. Ha ha ha! So it settles right into that part of my finger. So I've built up this odd looking kind of freako callus there. It's a little bit weird, isn't it? I also have this like pink mark here, and I've had these reoccurringly throughout my life, and they sort of come and go. I think that about covers it. I think that's probably enough. So, you mean like on the sides here? I get a little bit of flesh gunk there, but it's no worse. In fact, it's much less bad than it ever was on the mouse ball, whatever its technical term was with which you twiddled. I loved cleaning that though, a lot. I kind of miss it. Now I just have this snazzy light going on. Can you get it in your eye? I was filming this before and I managed to do it, but then I pressed the fucking back button on it and it went back and then it never recorded. Motherfucker! It's not gonna happen again, is it? It's just an absolute fluke. Well, you get to keep your eyesight for another day. Nope, everyone else has absolutely no comprehension of what a pen will do to you if it escapes your vice-like grip. And I'm sure that's going to come back and haunt them one day. No, I have a cold, and I'm a little bit slow in the head, a little bit. Hey, keep up. I'm speaking to myself, but I took a while to register it. If you follow me, which I certainly can't. The census form isn't in the letterbox. It was in the letterbox for a while, but it's not there anymore. I don't know anybody else who lives in this house, which makes it a little bit hard to fill it in. You're supposed to fill everybody's information. But I don't have it, but it's alright, it's not my problem, it's gone missing. I forgot to buy butter today for my toast, and that upsets me far more. P.S. Fine? Nah. Don't worry about it. Just have some lemonade. Makes it good and sweet. You don't know. All you know about my height is what I've told you. I could be lying. You have no real concept of my height. You can't say do something about it. Shit. Because you have no. To you, I'm just you can't compare me to any yardstick. Maybe should I compare myself to the yardstick of my bedroom, which you also have no conception of. Yeah? Alright then. Lift you up just so that we can actually encase myself, my massive self, in the small realms of the camera screen. How far back is it? I have to go in order to fit in. Look, I'm too tall right now. Too tall. I'm moving back. Oh. Just about fitting in it over here. Still too tall. I'm really giant.
I feel like stress really isn't enough of a problem for me. I have an exam tomorrow morning. Tomorrow AM, let's say. And analogous, but nonetheless puts a little more of a ring to it, doesn't it? Yeah. So, exam tomorrow, haven't done anything. It's now like 9:20. I'm just on this website. The very opposite of a good idea. Put my PJ clown pants on. I'm just thinking, I'll just wake up tomorrow and revise. So I get stressed sometimes, but only when I absolutely should be stressed to fuck, and that propels me to actually go and do things that need to be done. Well, stay here and do things that need to be done most of the time. Anxiety, I used to have a big problem, but now I'm pretty much okay. I feel like my university experience is a lot different to other people's, and I'm quite happy about that. So today I was in a pub. Well, I put my heater on ages ago and its boils were. Yikes! Alright, back to the topic at hand. So I was in a pub this afternoon after our lectures, and because I'm friends with people I'm friends with because they're at university and we're studying the same course, it ended up in an argument about dinosaurs that went on for a good hour and a half and was quite heated. It's the latter part of my course that is titled Condensed Matter 2. Condensed Matter 1 was a bit of a baffling affair involving the Lennard-Jones potential endlessly, taught by a Russian man, the Lennard-Jones potential, in micro and macro, and such things. And it was kind of just completely, for the most part, what the fuck. Seems alright in retrospect, but mostly that's because he kind of told us what was going to be an exam, so I didn't get a bad grade. But it was a bit bad. Condensed Matter 2, on the other hand, the current hand, temporarily speaking, is not so much that way. It is probably one of the easiest things that we have going on. But tomorrow it's the midterm, and it's an end of term test, which is pointless in my eyes because we're having exams in a month, including for this. But it counts for 5%. So those are reasons I'm not too worried about it. Counts 5%, easiest thing. But it's about electrochemical cells and a lot of chemistry shit that I don't know because I didn't do chemistry at all before now. So other people in the class are like, yeah, it's easy shit, it's A-level stuff, don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, cool. But I still need to learn it at some point, and I haven't done that yet. So it's just called Marmite. Yeast extract isn't in the name, it's written on the thing. I feel like you've just heard about it because you're a foreign. So here it is. Marmite. It says yeast extract underneath, but isn't the name and it isn't worthy of mention. Yes, that's what it is. And yeah, it's goop that people hate. But people love it too. I just think it's quite alright. And what I like to do with it is get some toast. Bread first, then turn it into toast with a magical transmogrifying toaster. And then you put a layer of Marmite on, and then you put some cheese on top, and then you grill that piece of shit. And then you eat it, and it's yeasty. Don't understand the question. Are you putting forth a situation wherein the Nintendo 3DS is having a 53% failure rate, or does it actually have a 53% failure rate? I don't know. I haven't heard of this failure rate. I don't know. It sounds like you're kind of specifying the truth elsewise. Yeah, the 3D is a gimmick. Hands. Another hardware rehash. Don't really give a shit about the 3DS. Have mentioned this previously. I played it at a sort of demo, and I just kind of wish that it wasn't coming out, and then all the games that were coming out on it would be playable on my current DS. Bummer. Probably about a 7. Which is untoward. I don't think this helped things. I don't think that woke me up or energized me. I had some shitty cheap energy drink, but it kind of just made my neck hurt. Neck, throat is now hurt. And still feeling kind of sleeps. Sleeps-o. I don't want to go to bed though. Of course not. That might actually help my life. On both accounts. I don't know. I tell people things and they ask me this, but the truth is I haven't the foggiest. I don't even feel like I need to think about it, apart from in very pie in the sky. 3.14. I only know it's 2 decimal places. I'm not going to pretend to know it more than that, 'cause I can guarantee that at least 7 people watching this do to the 70th. I should probably try and learn some more than 2 decimal places, but that's all they want on a physics degree, so fuck it. So, the things I say when people ask me this as a teacher, might do the teacher training course and get $9 grand out of it, possibly. A researcher, don't know about that because it's sort of like homework for life and forever. And a journalist in science, or, well, I say science because that seems, relative, related, because the question always comes after they find out what my degree is about. So to say something completely tangential would, not even tangential, like previously tangential from the point I was at before the degree. So those are the things I say as to what the truth will bring us. Only time can tell. And I hope it would shut up. Look, fuck off, alright? You're the guy who came to me telling me to do my lab report, and then when I said, alright, I'm going to do it now. Not because of you, I may add. Because I chose to answer that question when I was going to do it anyway. So then you sort of sat there smugly like, I encouraged her, she will be thankful. No, I'm not thankful. You have zero effect on my life with your annoying nudging. So just to prove this point, I'm not going to study for the exam at all. I will fail it, and it will be your fault, and that will be definitely worth just teaching you a lesson. So the necklace I'm always wearing currently is this. It's a feather, kind of looks like a leaf. I don't really have a lot of love for it. I just put it on and then I never took it off. That's kind of how it goes with me and jewellery. It'll be like, I'll put this on, and then I don't take it off out of pure laziness. No sort of tie. I mean, I always like them to some extent. This I kind of don't give a shit about, and it sort of does this a lot and looks a bit spastic. So the only reason it's still on my neck after a month, I don't know, is because I'm lazy. What a great visual illustration of that fact. I don't believe for a second, well, I don't think this is a 14-year-old chick at all, but I feel like I shouldn't say anything humorous in this situation, just in case it is actually a 14-year-old chick. It's just not, but okay. So, you've got a boyfriend, and he's 18, and he wants to fuck you, and you're 14. First of all, that's a little bit odd, a little bit uncouth. 14 and 18, that's a big deal at the time. So first of all, question that, but you won't, because you're a 14-year-old chick, and you're probably still a bit stupid, because you're 14. So my advice to you would be, don't do it if you don't want to. That's really all there is to say, isn't there? And just because you're 14 doesn't mean you have to be stupid. Okay, cat with scrotum for mouth. What the fuck is with that? Doesn't look like a cat. Belongings I ensure I have with me before I leave the house depends on what I'm going to do. Okay, so the consistent ones are the book I'm reading. Well, it's a thin book. It's a thin book of short stories by Google. Might continue to do that, get really thin books of short stories for the Tube and Sundry. Wallet. If I'm going to university, then I need my books and my pens. If not, then I don't. Mobile phone. Sometimes DS. It's very dependent, so it's not a constant. Variables. Extraneous. April the 5th, which is, I just realised, is a week and 1 day away. Holy fuck. Time flies when you're living. I do actually have a mouse pad, it just wasn't down at the time because I take it away when I'm eating, sometimes. But fortunately for me, there's now a bit of sticky mark there, so I always notice it's not down. Here it is. It has sharks on it. No, I got it because it was cheap. I haven't actually had a mouse pad for a great many years. Yikes. So I got one, and it's enjoyable. I do want like a sheet, you know, like the Razer sheet that are mouse pads. Ever since I used one at Gamerbase in the Trocadero, and I was like, wow, this is luxurious as fuck. You can't even see what I'm doing, but I was doing that and saying that for sure. I wasn't, but I felt it in my heart. Phlegm is an issue, a real issue in my life. So maybe I'll get one of those sometime. This is great. Mostly because I don't know where it's coming from. Do you mean I should get a channel on YouTube full stop? Because that's funny if you think that. I sort of assume most people out here know about it already. If you don't mean that, if you mean a vlogging channel for me to vlog, I don't even really know what a vlog is. I think I do them already, but maybe I don't. So I feel like this is good enough right now for me. It's very quick, it's very easy, it's fun, and it's kind of vlogging. So it's very odd to me that Elizabeth, while feeling this strongly about wanting to drive me around the USA to eat food with me, feels that strong. Did I already say feel strong? I don't know. But maybe she doesn't feel strong in her hands, maybe she doesn't have hands, and maybe that's the issue, and that's why she wasn't able to do this. And she has a car that's tailored for her. I hear that's expensive and arduous as processes go, so I can only apologise lengthily. But I propose that she might only want me there in order that she can obtain a permit, a driver's permit, I think you call it. Here we call it a license, and I had to work hard for my license. I had to spend a lot of money on lessons and then a test, and the test was with a man I did not know and have not seen before. In America, I hear, you can just sort of just drive around for an allotted number of time with anyone who has a license. If this isn't true, good. If it is, well, I think Elizabeth needs to come clean with that. And just, hey Elizabeth, I'm right here. I'm here for you. But not if you're just going to use me so callously. Well, perhaps if you were going to use me so callously, I'd feel better about the whole endeavour, and I'd feel that there's a bit of give and take, rather than just me taking, eating, heifering. Nice try. Well, no, and I know in America you have to do that, or else you can't do it at all. Unless you have extremely rich parents. For me, I get a student loan, so I just get money in advance. I have to pay back over the rest of my life, which is better. It means I don't have to have a job now, because I would implode. Not my soul, just my entire being. I'd be working at my job, my godforsaken side job, and I would implode messily. You might think that implosion implies a certain a certain neatness, because you think everything just goes into one smaller area at least. But my implosion actually involves quite a lot of propelled bodily fluid. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but I think it's important to know these things. So I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I feel really fucking bad for them, because fuck that. I know some people with jobs as well, and also fuck that. Why are you doing it? You have a student loan. But to each their own, and to own their each. The funny answer to this question is that I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know how to talk to girls. That's funny to me, even. That's funny. If I find myself talking to a girl with ease, it's because I am just fucking flirting with them. So they have to be hot, in the first place. And that's a bit fucked up. And I don't know how to rectify the situation. I don't have friends that are girls. I talk to girls sometimes and think, you're kind of cool and I'd like to be your friend, maybe. But the thing about friendships is they really stress me out, because like real friendships, because it's just commitments, and you can't say no to things very often because you just seem like a dick and you don't keep your friends. I know low-key friendship is good. I like low-key friendship, but when it's a girl who's a friend, I just can't imagine being able to deal with that. So unfortunately, I can't advise you on the situation. On here, people compare me to all kinds of just displeasing faces. Like that chick who was in The Grinch, who is now a grown-up, who looks like a fucking robot. Dakota Fanning. And just, it's a general, brings out the badness. The bad feeling. I'm going to have some cucumber to deal with this. Don't think that would be in shot, but it was, so I'm not going to have to confront it. Have a bite of cucumber. Oh yeah. Someone who I've been compared to, I like the comparison because it makes me feel good. They're after me. Again. Is Winona Ryder. I'd be very happy with that comparison. And I am when it happens. Hello Elizabeth, I'm pleased to hear you have hands. Although slightly disappointed also. Thanks very much for the invitation by proxy. I'm gonna assume you don't mean it. But say thank you very much nonetheless. And it probably won't happen because it would be a bit weird. I believe in I before E except after C. But not God. Yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Put people into little categorizations. A box for everyone. Isn't that your philosophy on life? Oh, let's put this person in a box. It's labelled. Let's label people as though they were cargo. Well, to you I say, I don't know why I'm doing this. I thought it was funny originally, but I just realised I've convincingly portrayed that person to the extent I seem like actually that person. I'm not quite sure how to... Well, let's just say that you win this round. It's I, and whenever I'm in that state, I have to complex conjugate myself in order to stop being so negative. If a girl was very, very similar to me, then yes. But she would have to be similar to me in so many different ways. Like, well, I think for it to not... So she would have to feel the same way about me in terms of low-key friendships and how they're much better because they aren't commitments. And if I say no, I don't want to come out or do whatever stupid thing you want to do. No, it's probably not stupid. That's the good thing about if they're very similar to me. They probably want to do something that I want to do anyway. So if they were similar enough to me that I felt comfortable with them, but I just find it that difficult to even imagine. Oh man, I just laughed at my own face then. That's when you know you're onto a winner. I think I probably could, but the thing is, it had to be so low key that there would probably have to be some sort of other situation that drew us to the same location, like university. So she'd have to be going to the same university as me. I don't know. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Maybe. I don't know. The complex conjugate of A minus BI is A plus BI. Fuck you. I don't know. I go both ways. So I'm both, and I don't know which is better. I feel like I'm slouching the same either way. And this time, with legs up, you're kind of just more doubled up than you were before, and it definitely doesn't encourage sitting up straight, because sitting up straight with legs up just feels like I'm a yoga teacher. I think there's Darwinian pitfalls for us all here. I think I go through stages of things like that, and but it isn't a constant thing. Sometimes I will say "oh my" after laughing. In a previous video, I slap my thigh. I do that after I laugh. Is that a go-to? It's not a verbal go-to, but it's certainly some kind of go-to. It has to be a particularly hearty laugh, I think. I think you're probably American and you list tea amongst your biography. I was going to say favourite things, but it isn't favourite things. There's a biography and you actually thought, I'll put tea in there. I like tea. So I think you have a bit of an English fetish. And so of course you love Stephen Fry. He's marketed to you. Well, he's not marketed to you as much as he probably could be. I don't hate him, I just don't have any fondness for him. The problem with cool kids is that they're douches, almost uniformly fucking douches, and I don't have time for that. I think if you recorded my face when I was watching the film Rango, you would certainly get wide-eyed appreciation. I don't know if those words are the right ones, but maybe they are. April the 5th, which is, I just realised is a week and 1 day away. Holy fuck. Time flies when you're living. No. Just no. I've been up all night. This isn't relevant, I just want to talk about it. Well, it's kind of relevant, but I just want to talk about it. Just shut up. I've been up all night writing a fucking thing that I should have written already that I didn't write. Because I was like, no, it'll be fine. And then I was just staring at an Excel spreadsheet for about an hour, just like, why isn't it working? Brain, do it, brain, look at it. What is wrong? The thing that was wrong is that I couldn't see it because I just couldn't make any sense of anything. Like, I was just going through the motions and I knew what I had to do, but I couldn't actually look at it and realise what was wrong. What was wrong is that fucking Excel, of course, I forgot, does everything in radians. Why? Like, Excel is for the fucking layman, majoritively. Oh, why radians? No, that doesn't help me. And I am on a physics degree. It should be optional. Why isn't it? And now there are birds. Every day there are birds. My window. Outside. Baby pigeons. They're not doing it right now. I put I've just put like a rug over the window because I thought maybe that would help. Hasn't done jack. Has done less than thereof. Jesus Christ, what a night. So I'm nearly finished at 8:24 AM. So definitely gonna have a nice last day of school and not just go hand in my work, come home and pass out. And another thing, my value for the ball magneton is whack. It's complete whack. I don't know why it's so whack. Other people didn't get such whackness. I only thought to, you know, calculate it when I actually had to write a fucking lab report about it. I didn't think, oh, I better check if this is alright and then maybe not do it if it's not alright. It's not alright, you know? I got a value of 75.9 micro electron volts per Tesla, which is like, it's far wrong, and I've got to hand it in now. I've no choice, no other option. Well, I could feasibly do another one, but no, just look at this face. This face holds the head that is very similar to this face in terms of, oh, why? Let this be a lesson to you, Rose. Don't do this shit. You say it every time though, and every time it happens, motherfucker. It wasn't that bad last time, but this time it's bad again. Because last time wasn't that bad, so I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm pretty great at life and everything, and nothing I do can ever go wrong because I got an A in it. And yeah, this has been fucking swell. I've enjoyed every second of it, and I'm continuing to enjoy every second. And now it's the great journey, the fabrication of, that is, the bibliography, the lie, the barefaced deceit that has no shame. Guys, I like the internet, guys. The internet's really helpful, and it teaches me things. And it's very interactive in that way. I can ask it a question and it will smile at me. Sometimes. And in this case, yes. Seaman. 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 Me? I'm a fucking bird, Rose, and I'm outside your window and I always will be. Every day. Every day at this time and earlier. As you know, the light will get light earlier, and I will be here waiting for just even the slightest excuse to just when you're up a bit late and fully regretting your whole life in that moment because you have to try and sleep through the meh. What am I going to do today? Am I going to stay up? I don't think so. That doesn't happen. I think like that, like, yeah, it's 8:37, and I feel like shit, but I'm not asleep. So I could feasibly get through the day. No. I'm gonna die out there. So yeah, I definitely read Siemens' paper from 1903. Whack that in there. And, you know, Feynman probably wrote something about it at one point, so I'll definitely track that down and pretend I read it. I'm sorry, Feynman. And anyone can put a dick on a Wikipedia page. I think that's what they think, and it's true. But the internet is a smiler, and has formulas, and I don't have a voice, and I don't have a soul, and that's the end of my story. Nope. Not yet, anyway. Last year, I was 1 mark off failing an exam that I basically didn't study for it because all the previous exams that I read through were quite straightforward, and I thought there were more pressing issues to contend with at the time, like other exams that I was more worried about, so I didn't really study very hard for it. And then I got the exam, and it was like, fuck, and I couldn't remember like the Fourier series, and I couldn't remember a bunch of shit, and some stuff it was like, will we told this? and it was not good, but I passed it by 1 mark percent. So hopefully I won't come anywhere close to that degree of closeness with the old fails this year. Feeling better about it than I was last year, but it's early days, isn't it? My first exam is on the 3rd of May, so when the 3rd of May arrives, please, everybody watching this, wish me intense luck rays. So that's 10 AM British Summer Time, 3rd of May, thanks. How cool do you think it is? That's a base question here that needs to be specified, well, answered, in order for me to properly address it to you, the individual. So probably not, though. Probably definitely not. You have to just get a lot of satisfaction out of not very much to be able to enjoy it. So you look at the math and you figure out what the fuck it is, and you say, yes, sweet, I dominated that thing on this bit of paper, kind of, not really. And that makes me feel good. You have to have that about really boring things like thermodynamics, which is a snores. Absolument. It's made of snores. Snore engines. So, some of it's quite cool, and you sort of broach subjects, kind of, that you like or have had interest in, and then they are muted by the just... Basically, very few lecturers are good. A lot of them are very boring, and the subjects suffer hugely as a result of this. What I enjoy the most is where I am now in the month before exams. Well, oh god, last year I just fucking frittered this time away, and I spent 1.5 weeks revising for the exams and didn't do that great. This year I've actually started early, and it feels good, you know? Feels like, yeah, let's keep this up. Why am I on VU? And I could be studying. I wonder how many times that will be asked over the course of the next month. So, no, it's not as cool as you think it is to study, but it is pretty cool. You just have to have a bit of a masochistic streak and also like figuring things out. My views are as follows. Boo! It tastes like water! All budget cola is bad. Spa do an American cola I have drunk, and it wasn't so bad, but I can't really bear them. Lidl do a brand called Freeware. It's the Freeware of Coke. It's not actually called Freeware, it's called Freeway. But I've made that joke a lot, and by God, I'm not going to stop. Indifferent. Big Bang Theory I like. It's shit. I accept it's shit, but I still like it. I think it's something to do with the colours, and sadly the subject matter. I like it because of it. I'm sorry. I don't even feel good about admitting it. I think I've done this before on here. I've definitely done it before several times in real life, even with people who like Big Bang Theory. I feel like, no, it's shit. Look at me. You like it, I like it. It's shit. As long as we accept that and feel bad about watching it and enjoying it, then that's alright, kind of. But people think it's actually... Okay, no. I'm not above them. I'm them. Even if they think it's good, I'm still among them. I am their kin. I'm sorry. Myself. Sorry to myself. Ice cream. Yeah. Ice cream, yeah. Ice cream, yeah. I like expensive ice cream. I don't really like shit ice cream. What more do I have to say? Caramel Choo Choo is rad because it's very delicious, but also I am not compelled to eat the entire mulk in one desperately depraved sitting. Whereas there are other ones like Cookie Dough, which I don't even like that much, but I just like, it's like, put it inside! And I do. And then it's like, bleh. and that's regretful. Girls who naming their computers. I named my computer Rapist last year when I lived in quite a conservative household, and was aware the whole time that if anybody clicked network, they would see that my computer was called Rapist, all caps. And it took me a really long time to change that, even though every time I saw it I just thought, fuck, I should change that, but I didn't. I don't know what it's called anymore. I think it still has a name though, so I'm one of those girls. And I have no problem with anybody who calls their computer a name. I think they should call their computer a name. I like that this says nowadays, like you know my past habits, and you're just interested in an update, food update. Do I make my food, or buy them, or half already made? These are all valid expressions of real life, aren't they? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it at length. So I eat quite a lot. Well, I eat medium. Yesterday I went out for a giganto meal with ribs and chicken and chips and salad and a gigantic piece of cake about yay. Came home, had some more cake. Cake is a substantial part of my diet. Cake. Bakery, baked goods. About 100% of my diet, baked goods. Delicious and fortifying and nutritional. None of these things, one of these things, delicious. So I eat some stuff. I have this card which means I get 2 for 1 or 50% off at a lot of places, so I eat out quite a lot and it comes to like £3 or £4 for a delicious hearty meal of some description. Pretty neat, pretty sweet, pretty nifty. I do that. I had a prawn layered salad today that I bought, but I also ate a bunch of shit when I was out all day. Don't know if this is answering any kind of question. Tips on low budget food. Soup, eggs, I buy like pack of turkey. This is the meal I cook. Pack of turkey, turkey sandwich. Make 2 turkey sandwiches out of 1 pack of turkey. That's some cheap eats, kinda good cheap eats. Protein. That's something I lack, and something I need to make up for with just a wedge in some bread. Bread, always bread. Forever and a day, bread. Sure. But do you say quark or do you say quark? I say quark. All of my lecturers have said quark. Sometimes I hear people say quark, and I immediately assume they are noobs. So you might want to consider that whenever you are next required to pronounce it in the world. Internet don't give a shit. It's all perception-based pronunciation. eBay off bits. Last year I sold a bunch of games on eBay, like GameCube games and DS games. I sold a bunch thereof. I made the most off of Ikaruga and shit, what's it called? It's gonna seem to you, the layman, like I can't remember the name because I didn't give a shit about it because I'm way too cool for that. But in actual fact, I had a life there. What was it called? You know what I mean? The Nintendo DS. Have a house. Tom Nook is a bastard. You live your life paying off your debts. You know? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I had a good friend in there called Billy, and he liked karate. He was a goat. Anyway, those two made the most money. Overall, I made £180 just on, like, games. It was amazing. I felt great. I felt like a winner. But I'm sort of running out of valuable things to sell. Well, no. I don't have many valuable things that I would like to sell. That's the issue at the moment. I don't know what I'd sell on eBay if I truly ran out of money. Just sweat rags. Talk about them on YouTube. Hello. It's nice to have you. So what I do is I bleach it, and it goes a sort of yellow colour, yellow-orange, which maybe you're familiar with, my love. And then what you do is you put purple in it, and it takes it all up to a white. It also sometimes takes it all up to a bit of a purple, so you have to be at ease with that beforehand. I had blue hair for 6 years, so I'm fine with it, having some purple for a few days. So you can, what I usually do when I first bleach my hair is I just get some purple hair dye, like a little bit of purple hair dye, put it in like a mass amount of conditioner, whack it all on my hair for about 20 minutes, wash it off and see the situation, maybe do it again. And in the long term, you can just get like a pot. It's not a pot, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a product, and it's called Silver Sensations. I don't know where you are, hopefully England, in which case you can also garner this product from either Boots or Sainsbury's or somewhere. And it's called A Touch of Silver, and it's for either people who want to be light blonde or people with grey hair. I don't know what happens with grey hair that you need to do that. Apparently it gets a bit yellow or something. A little bit weird. Don't have to worry about that for a good 50 years, so less. Probably. Anyway, let's just face each problem as it arises. So I use this stuff, which is like shampoo that you're supposed to use every week, and just use it 2 times a week usually, and leave it on for 4 minutes. Condition. There you go. I actually had little to no strife with that particular assignment. The most recent one was the Zeeman effect, the previous one was the Hall effect. His graphs were great. I obviously go to a much classier establishment because, check it out. Logarithmic curve, that is just beautiful, isn't it? Is it not? Look, a little bit of whack, but generally speaking, and then against the logarithmic scale, I just like to look at it sometimes. It's that classy. I even went on to determine the carry concentration and mobility alongside the band gap. But the Bohr magneton, let's not even think about that. But Randy Taylor was a weed, is a weed, was a weed, is a weed, will be a weed, will die a weed. And PJ, fucking PJ. Oh, I played paintball and now I can't see. Fucking idiot. It's funny that you've picked that one out, as it's one of my least watched videos, and on reflection is rather retarded. I actually considered, at length, over the past 6 years of my life, recording an audiobook of some book, some chosen book, and putting it on the internet because I really like audiobooks and would like to donate to that. So hopefully I'll do that someday, and it will be some kind of epic story. I don't know what kind of epic story it is you require. I don't feel that story was very epic, was it? A little bit retarded. That's really the only word that can be utilised to aptly describe it. I think it's great, and anybody who's watching this and hasn't seen it should download it now and watch it when it arrives at its hard drive destination. My favourite colour is the space between blue and green, a rather distinct space that's closer to blue than green, and is sometimes described as teal, sometimes described as turquoise, and sometimes described by faggots as turquoise. I think it isn't shit, but I'm not a rabid XKCD-er. I don't go to the XKCD website every day, or even weekly, or even monthly, but occasionally I will see a comic from XKCD, and it's rare that it's shit. Sometimes it's just not very funny to me. But I think shit is a whole nother level. Sometimes it's quite good. It will be released, but it will disappoint everyone, apart from the people who will deny it to themselves or are stupid. I'll probably buy it in a Steam sale. Probably next summer or next Christmas. Yes, but there needs to be nothing else to do. I need to be stuck. Like, the most recent chess game I played, and the only chess game I've played in I think the previous 2 years, is on a train. That was ideal chessing conditions. I sadly lost, but it was a close run thing, and down to the very last few pieces. I don't know what it means, but I'd like to ask you a question based on this situation that arose in your dream mind. If I were to have heard you coming and be standing on my bed over there, and you come in the door over there, okay, so if I fire a bow and arrow and it hits either you or a friend, okay, let's say a friend, hits your friend, hopefully somewhere non-lethal, but incapacitating, and your friend goes down like a sack of bricks, and you're like, shit, my friend has an arrow sticking out of him, I'm not quite sure what I should do in this situation, I think I'm going to leave, or at least not pose any more threat to this chick. Or are you going to think, well, my friend's been taken down, but look at her, she's looking quite nervous and fairly slowly reloading the next arrow, I'm going to take her out and fuck her up even more than I was going to elsewise. Because I often think about this and I don't know what the best course of action would be. So thanks for any insight you are able. This keeps pausing in the most inopportune moments, and it makes me look like a retard when I blink, because it pauses just as I go down to blink and my eyes go whoop. So I'm not blinking in this response. Please no god fuck dry. Arid landscape of eyeball. I don't remember ever saying I don't shower, but maybe I did. I just don't remember. I do shower. I shower bi-daily. Because the production value on these is nil, zero, absolute nothing. And that's much easier for me to do. Basically, but you know, I haven't forgotten YouTube. I think it's rad. I think it's good. I'll swear engine. Great time. But I still haven't seen the last series, the third series. To begin with, I was like, no, I'm going to save that for a special time when I feel like I need it. But since then, I've heard that the third series doesn't really end properly because it was cut down in its prime. And that kind of makes me not want to watch it because I have such fond open-ended memories of it, and I don't want it to get shut down. I like how the different in this question is just so far beyond the typo that it sort of points out that you can't actually spell different, which won't matter as long as you're doing a sciencey degree very much. You might lose 1 mark for doing something like that in a report of some description. I didn't give a shit, really. I write really well, but that doesn't really make much of a nevermind in my field. Fuck, so they're just harder. I mean, that's quite an obvious thing to say, and I think maybe you were hoping for something more explanatory. I remember thinking the same thing at A-level. It's just harder and much more in-depth, but depending on what you want to do, I mean, it's just quite a big step up. So if you're doing okay in subjects that are applicable to that course, then you'll be fine. It's a step up still, but you'll make it. Whereas if you're not doing so well in those subjects that you are hoping to continue at university, if they're in the sciencey realm anyway, I don't know about elsewise, then you might find yourself a little bit fucked. But you just have to put a bit more work in, so you can do it anyway. As long as they let you. It isn't rapist anymore. There's a small Chinese girl beneath me. Yeah. And she is on the same network as me, and if she saw that, well, last year I cared a lot more, I didn't change it. Anyway, I changed it regardless. I changed it before I even came here. This girl, her real name is Wing. That's an okay name. South Park slightly put a tinge of bad on that name, but it's okay. She could work it. But she's chosen the English name Cheryl. Cheryl. So her name on the network is Cheryl. I don't know if she would even look on the network, but she might accidentally once, and if she saw rapist, she might just start crying, because Wing doesn't know what to do about that. Anyway, I don't have Bluetooth in my mobile, so that's sort of, my mobile phone was £10, plus £10 credit, so No Bluetooth for me. I kind of feel like I have to. Like, that's kind of a challenge I've very unofficially, very avoidably set for myself to do at some point in my life, just because it seems like literally the worst thing you could ever do to yourself. Beyond... I don't know if there are very many worse things than that, if it doesn't go very well anyway. If it goes well, I suppose it's still going to be a hugely traumatic experience, but it won't be as bad, but kind of assuming it's going to be awful and no one's going to laugh, I think is the best way to head into that sort of situation. So, I do consider it. I hope I do it someday. Nope, I don't think I ever would unless I changed. But that's kind of a change too far, I think. There'd have to be some serious upfuck in order for me to proclaim either veget or veganism. Terrier. So, no, I like eating food, and I like eating meat the most of all kinds of food, perhaps, I think. So I don't think I'd give that up. And I eat all animals, and would eat any animal just to see what it tasted like. When I'm at university, every single day. Some people are really fucking smart. How irritating. I go to university with a few of that ilk. But maybe in some ways I'm smarter than them. Just not the one that counts at the moment. So, I think there's so many variations of smartitude. And as you can tell from that sentence, I have more. I think that themed katanas, especially of the Mario variety, would probably be rather blunt. I think any katana you can buy that is in any way themed is blunt regardless, even not themed. Here I think it's illegal, but if you get yourself a katana, it's probably going to be fairly blunt. So, it's not going to be, if it was a katana, I thought, if it was a real katana and you didn't knock your glass over and have a mini stroke, then you might find yourself in the perfect position to kill any and all intruders, but I think it would really just amount to sort of banging people on the head and going, ow, fuck, rather than slicing and dicing. Anyone can kill somebody with a bow as long as they know how to pull it back and where to point. My bow and arrow, the arrow will go straight through wood, so I think that a human body would be delightful. The way I say quark would in America be said quark. The R is just out of control there, as he often is in your way of speaking. Let's have a conversation about quarks. Well, let's have a conversation about quarks and just cut that little R out. That little R needs to know its place, and its place is alongside all the other letters, with no favoritism or higher stature. And the other way is quark, which would be quark. Again, the R is all over that shit. Yeah, I'm pumped for it. I'm all pumped up and ready to go in June. Yeah, and I really hope they bring it to Casino properly, the arcade where I play the Street Fighters. It's at the Trocadero now, but that's £1 a credit. In Casino, it's £1 for 2. Come on. In the summer, I played a series of poker games. Of the first 3, I won 2, but thereafter it was a sorry state of affairs. I think second was the best I got after those first 3, which means obviously I didn't win the first 2. I won 1, failed 1, failed proceedingly. Perhaps my pokerings are seasonally based. I am rather sleepery and finding it difficult to piece words together with any sort of velocity. Well, the velocity exists, it's just rather slow. 2 words per 20 seconds. That's an underestimate, but I'm doing it so I succeed more than I might think so otherwise. So yeah, I woke up too early, couldn't get back to sleep. Thought I'll listen to Adam and Joe, and I did. I listened to Adam and Joe show, the Adam and Joe show on BBC Six Music, the podcast thereof. Very good. I recommend anyone watching this go and listen to it because it is delightful. But then that didn't make me go to sleep. I just lay down and chuckled for 50 minutes and then decided to get up and try to talk, and what a bad move that was. And I always love reading about them, and the Portal 2 one particularly is great times. I'm really glad that that sort of thing happens, and I'm really glad that Valve is the sort of company that delights in it so much. And there's nothing about it I don't like, and I can't play Portal 2 until tonight. I'm going to go out soon so I don't have to confront that issue while staring at a computer onto which it is installed. Make videos, don't be boring, don't be a dick. Like, I never expected so many people. To me it seems like a lot of people compared to other people. I don't have a lot of people. I think there's others who could probably give you better advice, but even then I think I wouldn't listen to advice from certain people who are incredibly popular but just kind of dicks about it in the way they have gathered the following. A lot of it makes me gag. Not even because of my fingers, just because of their fingers and the fact that they exist. When you say this, I assume you mean get better grades in your exams. That's what I mean when I think of doing physics better. Unfortunately, that is the way it is measured. The betterness or unbetterness of your ability or inability to physics. So, studying for exams is what I'm doing at the moment. I'll tell you how I study for exams, and then I'll tell you the ways in which I think it is wrong. Alright, so the way I study is I write down everything that I need to know. This is page 1 of 3 on thermodynamics, and it covers things like partial differentials, heat, and, you know, first law, second law, third law, zeroth law, entropy, photon gases, and that sort of thing. So I do that at length and go through everything until I actually understand everything. But I don't think this is an ideal way of doing it. It's how I do it, and if I didn't do it, I think I wouldn't be doing anything, because I find it difficult to actually go through question papers until I'm like, shit, fuck, exam season is truly upon me, and it isn't yet. It is in a week, but to me that isn't yet. To me it'll probably be 2 days before, and I'll start going through question papers. But if you can go through question papers now, just do it. Not necessarily exams, just like all your homeworks you were ever given. Try and just go through them all and do them. I wish I had the capacity to do this. I just don't. But I think that's the very best way you can study for exams, and if you do it, you'll probably get really good grades. Also, looking over exam papers, previous exam papers. This is such basic shit, I don't even know what I'm bothering saying, but you know, whatever. So in all my conceptualizing, I'd omissed, is that a word, omissed? Omissed is a word, isn't it? I'm saying too long and I'm going to run out of time, so I'm talking very fast. Check the exam papers, and a question that comes up every time is, what is the thermodynamic identity? And then all my conceptualizing, I hadn't gone over this, hadn't memorized it, but now I have, because I've actually checked through and seen how important that is and how often it comes up with. Du equals TDS minus PdV. Do that. Well, do let me know at which point over the past 5 years I've changed. Those math babes are really not appealing to my demographic. No differential equations. Come on, guys. Get with it. It was indeed. Thanks for noticing. With no interference, other than the fucking cops, my schedule has turned into 5 AM to 1 PM / 2 PM. Changing it up to a 4 AM bedtime if there is anything to do on the opposite day in the early hours. The early hours to me is anything before 1 PM. Tomorrow I have an early hours appointment. Alas, it means a bedtime of 2 AM. Yeesh. I used to do blog TV when I was bored, and that usually meant my face got posted on B and a bunch of people showed up, and it was usually really fun. And one of my fondest memories of that period of time is when a 14-year-old came on the co-host cam, 14-year-old boy, and started to jerked off, jizzed, rubbed the jizz into the carpet, and then I got banned. It basically happens every day if you pay any attention to games developers and publishers and the like. Sad fact, you just have to stop placing any faith or trust or belief or hope in anything, and when something goes right, you just take it on as a kind of fluky occurrence that has no reflection on where it's come from. It's just lucky that it's good, unless it's a small studio. Small studios are ace, oftentimes, a lot, but they can always go the way of the bad. Valve are good, but they've still done some things that have made me sad or depressed, like the whole releasing Left 4 Dead 2 a year after Left 4 Dead 1 at the time was incredibly annoying to me. It's quite a good game, but it's a bit superfluous, and they could have been spending their time on something that would have had much more fun from, I think. The TF2 trading system I also really don't like. It's completely put me off TF2. I think I played it once since that whole thing was implemented. The whole thing is just sullied to me. But overall, they do the right thing, and they reap the fucking benefits from doing the right thing, so I don't think they have a reason to stop doing it, so I sort of have faith in them. I really like them. I really like everything I hear about them, pretty much. But you know, I'm sure I'll talk about it quite a lot on the day that they also betray me. This is like such a base question, the kind of which I would look at and just scroll right by without even registering, but it's in this application, it's amazing, because I don't know. Well, I think I do, but I'm going to go through it with you. So, Joe Cornish has been an incredibly successful guy. He's gone on to help with Wright, I think, Tintin, and he's written this shitty film about the suburbs and aliens or something, I don't know. I watched the trailer and was just like, oh, it kind of wiped it from my brain. Joe Cornish, what are you doing? But, he's been successful. Meanwhile, Adam Buxton has been... he just fails when he tries to do anything for money. If you go and watch his YouTube videos, they're fucking great, and Ken Corder is such an awesome character that he's just made and put in a few things, and... I really like Adam Buxton, so you can see where I'm going with this. I would fuck Adam Buxton, but it might feel a bit like pity. But again, he'd probably be alright with that, other than the fact he has a wife and kids, if you ignore those facts. I think he's accepted his place. You hear it in the podcast. He's very eager to please, and Joe's sort of sitting back and a bit keeping the puppy happy. But Adam Buxton is always in my heart. So I'm going to have to answer this on the premise that neither of my brothers will ever see it. Neither of my brothers have seen anything I've put onto the internet, although I think I've talked to them about the YouTube thing. I've just refused to give anything in the way of usernames. So, I have two brothers. One is 21 and one is 23. The youngest one, first of all, yeah, we all look the same, kind of. We all have this and kind of similar eyes. There's a sort of general theme in my family that is in the facial region. We get along quite well. I get along with my youngest one much better than the second middle kid, because he's a little bit aggro, a little bit aggressive, a little bit diametrically opposed to a lot of things that I like or do. So, and very aggressively so. He's a bit of a hippie, takes pride in hippiness, sort of enjoys pseudoscience, and thinks I'm just being incredibly close-minded when I talk about the fact maybe chakras don't exist. And he's not easygoing about it, and neither am I. So it's like clash. Everything that's wrong with me that I've described over the course of these videos, like everything I've said, he also has, but slightly more, in my opinion. So it's a clash. My youngest brother is much more similar to me, a little bit Well, you know, they're both similar to me, but he's more easygoing, easier to get on with, less hot-headed, pretty cool kid, although he's been away in Asia for a year, so I don't actually know what he is anymore, but I guess I'll see him next month when he comes back, and I'll be able to figure it out. Hope that was informative. I'm really glad that you, a 14-year-old girl, definitely a 14-year-old girl, definitely, came to me with this question. So there's a lot of people on the internet who would fob you off and say, no, it's perfectly natural and fine to do that. But I'm here to tell you right now that it's really, really not. It's deviant behaviour that will land you nowhere other than away from God, probably involving a fair amount of burning fire. I don't know if you've heard of hell, but it's certainly where you'll go. Look, it's another of these questions that's definitely genuine from somebody naive and a girl. Just going to break it to you right now. If you do that, there's no repentance and no let up. Enjoy your eternity in the underworld. My beliefs actually revolve around the stupidity of humankind at large, and you're validating my beliefs, so thanks very much for that. It was a joke. A joke! I didn't even think I'd done it that well. I thought I'd gone a little bit overboard, referencing the underworld. I don't think Christians actually do that, do they? I thought that was purely a Greek thing. Well, anyway, apparently I did it excellently, and I have an abundance of these questions, and people even stopped following me because of it, which I see as a true measure of my success. Yes, I love taxidermy. My favourite taxidermy museums are the Horniman Museum in Forest Gate, and the best piece they have is a walrus. This walrus was caught, killed and taken back from Canada, I think, and at the time little was known about walrus, so the taxidermist stuffed it and kept on stuffing it and kept on stuffing it until there were no folds or creases. It's just a gigantic expanded walrus just sitting in pride of place in the Horniman Museum, surrounded by a lot of other cool things. So that's a really great place. The Booth Museum in Brighton is perhaps the only good thing about Brighton. And this guy called William Booth shot a lot of things all throughout his life and had them taxidermied. And the Booth Museum is filled with his samples, mostly birds. And it was great. I really liked it there. I'd like to go back, but I don't really want to go back to Brighton. Another really great museum in London is the Hunterian Museum, which has a lot of things like elephant uteri and baby fetuses, just stacked up in glass cases throughout, and it's fucking awesome. Those are my favourite museums. The fact you're calling it Jack of Corner means either you were there, or it's been mentioned by me in some other scenario. I don't think I called it that in my VU response, so that's interesting. It happened, and I accepted it. I accepted it as what it was, and it was Jack of Corner. I could have tried to fight it, but instead I welcomed it, and it was fucking hilarious. I like to think not. I've survived this long without it. I believe your hypothesis of its future is quite correct. Don't like it, don't want to partake in it. There are some things I know I've missed out on, one of which I found out today, which is that by now I would have, if I'd had Facebook, be informed and thus have completed a set of instructions. You open a calculator, the bog standard basic Casio allowed in exams calculator, draw with a pencil a graphite line on the circuit board, and ta-da, you have a seemingly impotent calculator that can actually differentiate, integrate, perform matrix operations and all manner of things, solve quadratic equations, unbeknownst to anybody. But I can now look up online, and so I found that out by interfacing with a human, which is admittedly not one of my strong points, but I did it. Yeah? And now I know. Now I know, alright? So hopefully I don't need any Facebooks in my life and can continue to be unmolested by it. I feel like getting it now would just be admitting defeat, and that's not something I do very often. I agree with you. These hands are fuck weird. Some people seem unfazed by them. I try and get across. I try with various amount of tools at my disposal, just contortioning them, making them weird, measuring them against their own hand. But just some people fail to... I think maybe they're just being incredibly polite, and that's something I don't understand on any level. And as such, I'm just continuing to try and prove it to them that I've got weird fucking hands, and they're just politely, no, Rose, they're fine. They're not fine, they're weird as fuck. Although Ripley's Believe It or Not sort of offends me on every level. All I know about it, I think I've seen it on TV, but what stands out to me most is their museum in Piccadilly Circus, and I walk in there and it's just an assault of obnoxious bulbosity, and it just disgusts me on every level. So I won't be donating my hands to those people. The Horniman Museum will no doubt have a space probably already set up from the first time they saw me walk in, so it can be dealt with in that way. The moon is up, the water's still, so arm in arm we go up the hill. I will forgive the past and forget it too. I will let my love return to you. I know you're trying, I know you can make a lover out of a bitter man. I will forgive the past and forget it too. I'm not so foolish as to lose you. Ruffle. I won a Whitney Houston vinyl for my great dancing at a school disco when I was 9. I also won £60 Amazon voucher. I think those are the only 2 things I've ever won. I read a lot of American opinion and just came across a lot of American opinion on this matter. Just from being on the internet, obviously. And it's quite, just really, I don't know. If it was an English villain, you wouldn't see the same sort of reaction. I think it's quite hilarious that everyone's seeing it as a great success and reflection of the greatness of the USA when it's taken them 10 fucking years to find him, and killing him will do literally nothing, I think, to stop terrorism. In fact, it'll probably just stir the ashes and put a few more logs with coal on the top, and then maybe just pour some petrol for good measure. I don't know. Regardless, I think the sort of celebrations are something I completely can't relate to, probably because I'm not fucking American. Probably shouldn't have said fucking in there, because that made it seem like I was saying bad things about Americans, which I'm clearly not. I'm president of the Jacking Off Society. And come on, it's always funny. That's me laughing at it, because it's always funny. I see where you're coming from with this, but I think most people were just happy that they had a day off, and maybe some people did care about a wedding, but that might just highlight the difference between the countries that I was sort of angling for. We get jolly and clap when somebody marries and you run down the street shouting fuck yeah when some dude with a turban gets shot. If you think the fact that me and Darva are in love and getting married makes me gay, then I don't even know what to say. You're fucked up. You messed up. You're fucked up. Messed and fucked. Equal measure. One exam was meh. Kramer's rule is a dick. The other exam was oh fuck shit. No, oh no. So draw from that what you will. But what I'd more like to talk about. I'd like to talk about something. There's a kid who's cheating in every single exam, and he sits near me, and I watch him cheat with a blown mind, just like, what? You have brought in a piece of A4 paper which is crammed full of notes that you keep in your pocket and you bring out and you put in between your question papers as you're writing and someone's walking by, or you just hold the question papers like a bit of paper that is not nearby for me to show you up slightly so it's tilted so they wouldn't be able to see it, and you're just looking at the questions. Oh, what relates? You're doing that. Not you, personally, but the guy who is cheating in every exam. And it's quite funny. It brings an element of drama that's quite welcome, a good distraction. If I'm feeling a little bit like, fuck this piece of white blinding with scrawled spider on, I can just look over and there he is, being amusing in some way, looking slightly worried, but getting away with it 100% every time. I haven't played Dirt 2 in ages, but I have played Dirt 2 a bit, and although I'm still not amazing at it, I'm quite good at kind of games where you don't have to be continually good. So there's a game in the party mode, which is, I'm not even like, well basically, I'm just thinking of giving up talking right now. Anyway, I won't. Domination. You go around and you have to do sections of track for certain. This is like so irrelevant. Why am I mentioning it? I like that one anyway. So try that one out. It's fun. Not fishtailing. Basically, you can't go super fast around corners. It's a bit of a drag. But you just can't, or you spin out and it's fucked. So you have to judge carefully how fast you can be going, and then let the tail fish a little bit. But for the most part, keep it on track, and also fuck with your settings, differential and bias or whatever this shit is all called, and see what's good for you. IKR, I know, right? Unforgivable. GPOY, gayest picture of you, I think. I hate that. I see it and it just angers me. Just post the picture, alright? Don't pretend it's validated in some way with that follow-up. And IMHO, in my humble opinion. Anything you say on the internet is already your opinion most of the time, and it's obvious. Adding the tepid word humble, just, oh, fuck, disgusting. No, of course not. I mean, most of the time, or a lot of the time, when I'm being sociable and nice, it feels wrong and somewhat affected. Doesn't mean to say I don't mean it. I want to be nice to this person, but I still feel a bit weird doing it. Like I'm lying. Well, and that's not all the time, but it's definitely some of the time. I can be sociable and nice, though. No, but, you know, no, I got out of bed at roughly 4 PM that day, read the news headlines, and regretted my day. or lack thereof, and definitely the lack of parakeets, motherfucker. I actually have a bust, no pedestal, but a bust. It's Frédéric Chopin. Feeling a little bit dead. Not so hot. I got woken up too early by a bongoist. Fucking love bongos. Listening to somebody play bongos is like listening to me play Bishi Bashi. Listen to me play Bishi Bashi. Ready? It's probably going to be really loud and obnoxious. See? See how it goes to one frequency? Because that's what I'm capable of. This guy is no better. And it's right, like, good bongo players, they're still incredibly annoying. I hate bongos in all its forms. And this was no exception. I was just lying in bed shouting in anger. But it wasn't doing anything, as you might realise if you thought about me just lying in bed shouting a bit in my bedroom for just a moment. So not a great start. I fucking hate bongos so much! Anyway, if you play bongos, just don't. Nobody likes or enjoys it. And even if you're doing it in the privacy of your own home, I can hear it in mine, so fucking don't do it. Thanks. If you play bongos, then you're such a fucking asshole, you won't even understand, you just... Then I went to a talk this evening, because I'm cultured and shit, about, science journalism, and the guy telling us how to become science journalists, but not just giving us very vague advice. Some of it was okay. And at the end of it, I actually wanted to ask him a question. I never ask questions of those things because it makes me feel incredibly weird. But I did it. I was like, yep, got my hand up, gonna ask a question, gonna do this, come on. And eventually he noticed me and said, yeah, and I'd forgotten my question, and I was like, I did remember and regain composure, but it's not okay. Really, I haven't been out very much this week. There's been a lot of sleep going on, so I'd be intrigued to hear when it was and what was going on, and depending on the situation, thanks for not saying anything. If I'm with other people, I don't know, maybe that's the better time to do it, so I don't feel cornered. Basically, intriguing. I have a hairstylist who braids my hair. No, I don't. These are weird. These are a bit different. Because I'm supposed to be studying for my exam tomorrow. That's basically why that happened. But generally speaking, should I just use some of my spare hair? You make it into. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Did not expect my demographic to require such tutorial. So you get 3 strands, and then you just go under, bring it over, under, and you just keep going underneath and hold it tight so it doesn't unravel, and then you get. Let's see how much I can get done in this time. I think it's gonna have plenty of time to spare, and you can see a whole fucking thing going down. Isn't that incredibly exciting? Each and every one of us. The answer is yes. Indisputably. So I hope this was incredibly entertaining, because I'm having a whale of a time here, and 1 strand is now way too short to do anything with. So that's the end of that. No, my natural hair colour is described thusly. I have to fry it to get it like this, and that'll need to be done again soon with the frying, and also just the hair washing. Look at that, pretty it's nice when it gets nicely separated by your own head grease. That's a delight. I haven't been to anybody else to do my hair since I was 16, that's 9 years. So that's why it's like this. I mean, it's somewhat contained and you can't really tell, but I used to just cut my hair short and hack it, and that was fine, and it looked like I had done that, but I didn't mind it because that was a thing that was happening with my hair on purpose. But now it's just grown out, so the differing lengths that are remnants of said hacking remain, but it's now in different ways and different directions and unplanned. And I'm not doing a damn thing about it other than, you know, whacking on the old conditionerino and pretending everything's fine. Sometimes I'll turn around or just out of the corner of my eye see myself do or think or say something that's really not okay. And that's a what? Moment. But also, I don't always feel bad about that. And that in itself makes me aware of the fact that I'm kind of a wrong'un in some ways. Bad wiring. So the answer is yes, but also no, depending on the situation. I suppose the minute I gain a girl demographic is the minute I'm flooded with questions about my shit hair. So that's a good thing. Wow, Rose. Wow. Love you, ladies, girlfriends, sisters. Bleh. At the moment, I'd say the high point of my current game life is the only thing I'm allowing myself to play really is gun game in Counter-Strike Source, because it's not gonna suck me in completely, because there's rounds and things, and you sort of after a while you start playing shit. I start playing shit, and I get out of there. But so winning gun game feels fucking amazing. You feel like you fucking earned that and are better than everyone else, and there's usually a lot of other people. So when you're in a server with 20 people plus, and you beat them all to the top of the scoreboard, you have to kill. You start off with the shittiest pistol and you work your way up through the gun. I'm sure you know this, but for any random passerby, work your way up the gun tree, and finally you're with a knife, and you have to knife someone to death, and you're like, just running around slightly manically trying to get up to someone in the heat of some battle so they might not notice you, or just from behind or anything, just knife someone. And especially when you're at the top with a number of other people, and you're the first person to knife the next person. It's a good feeling. And it seems like that's what I'm best at in Counter-Strike. What I will win at more than anything else. Because you don't need patience for it, basically. Yeah. I think the problem with me is that I'm kind of close to being a psychopath some of the time, especially when I'm not given me time. And when you get married and you have kids, you have a shitload of responsibility. I know kids isn't in this question, but it's assumed to me when it comes to marriage. That's the sort of path that some people take, and I really don't think I should, because I think I might kill all of my children, if I had any. If not physically, by shaking them to death, then at least eventually by slow, attrition to their mental sector. I don't think it's a good move. I think I'd turn into the worst person in the world, so I'm gonna probably avoid that sort of thing. This is about the writer guy who I asked the question. I asked, he went to university, and then he went to America to Caltech to get his master's, and was taught by Richard fucking Feynman, and then dropped out. Sorry, not a master's, a PhD. And he dropped out in order to go and start writing shit. And I asked him if he'd ever regretted dropping out from his PhD, and he said, never. And that didn't help me very much, because at the moment I'm trying to decide whether or not to stick it out for the 4th year, the master's, on my course or not. And I can't fucking decide, and I have to decide in about 2 weeks. So any input? just random stranger input, would maybe be of use. I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me to be a workaholic. Look at me. I'm exam tomorrow, shit to do, notes in front of me, really not properly in there at all. Haven't spent very much time at all on this today for some fucking reason doing this. So I don't know if I could be a workaholic. It'd be cool if I could do something I enjoyed for a living, but I'd like to do that on kind of a part-time basis. I don't think you can really be a workaholic part-time. The thing is, I really like spending time on my own doing things a lot, and I think maybe that lends itself more toward the spinster side of the scale, but maybe there's also somewhere in between. Pretty sure there's somewhere in between, like if I was just me now, but into the future somehow, forever, then I think that'd be right. It's responses like this that make me just want to say, I feel sorry for you. If you can't enjoy your time alone, I don't mean in an aggressive way, that just like, if you can't enjoy your time alone, then I genuinely feel sorry for you. Because that would be shit if you had to always rely on other people for your entertainment, and in order to feel good or nice you had to have other people there. And that's a bit shit. I have good times with other people, but that doesn't mean... I mean, that makes me enjoy my time alone even more. But I think that's the difference between being an extrovert and an introvert, but I don't really believe anybody on the internet for any extended period of time is or could be an extrovert. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah. Well, shucks. Enthalpy is something I don't really understand either, so snap on that. Unfortunately, I do have to understand it, but then again, I did have to understand it for a separate exam in which I did not understand. I mean, I understand a little bit. It's energy. It's internal energy with the added bonus of whatever energy is supplied by the addition of something. Not quite clear on it. A little bit of a worry. Exam tomorrow requires some level of enthalpy. I remember this equation that I need on this one can be just remembered by enthalpy equals guts. So in my mind there's no U in it, but we can pretend there is for this purpose. Except you've got to remember that there isn't actually a U. There's so many ways of remembering equations and they're all completely retarded. You have to remember that actually no, that letter isn't there, but you do remember it. Good, great. I'll have that equation, but not actual understanding of the thing itself. So what I'm doing tomorrow is condensed matter too, and it's very much about chemistry. So it's like mixing of two separate substances, and the enthalpy on mixing is related to the internal energy, but also the energy provided by the way in which the two substances interact. I think this is it. This is what I believe it to be. Please fucking tell me if I'm wrong, because that might be useful tomorrow. At least you like me somewhere. That's pretty good. My VU thing is this, me now, and me on the internet as a face that's talking. When I look back on it and I'm not being a bit of a jerk off and not being slightly unpleasant, I feel a bit disappointed in myself, and I feel like, what's the point? But I have thought about deleting this thing. The thing with VU is that it's kind of a massive time suck, obviously, and I'm not sure quite how useful or interesting it is. And I think sometimes maybe things I've talked about on here could have just been in a video that I put on YouTube, and that would feel better. But then would that happen? I feel if I just got rid of VU and spent this time doing something else, that time would be less productive on average. Although I don't know how productive this really is. Basically, it's like a sliced time capsule of me for future me to look back on. That's how I see quite a lot of the internet, and the fact other people around makes it more entertaining at the time, but so that's why I'm quite really hesitant to delete anything of me properly from the internet, even though I'd like to sometimes. But anyway, I think I like VU. I think I'll probably stick around. I'm fine. My accent skills are pretty minimal. I can start most, but then I sort of go off on some tangent and end up somewhere I didn't want to go and wasn't invited to. I can do Scottish. Scottish is okay. I don't mind the Scottish accent. I'd say it's probably my favourite of the ones that originate from my country. Gonna stop there because it's going whack already. And I'd probably say that Liverpool has the worst accent, but if I try to do that for very much longer, the worst accent, if I try to do that for very much longer, I'll end up somewhere neither of us want to be. That's the extent of what I'm going to try tonight. Sometimes, yes, it's really helpful for stuff like maths, where it's a kind of process you have to learn and develop. You don't have to develop it at all, fucking lie. Learn. And it's good for that. But when it comes to physics, you sort of have to just learn a thing, just know it, and then that's quicker to do from just reading things, I think. But Khan Academy for maths has been very useful. Well, not so much this year, but kind of a bit this year and last year. And MIT videos have also been helpful, but I find it more helpful for maths than the rest. I mean, maths is involved in all of it, but to an extent that doesn't mean I have to go scrolling through the YouTubes in order to understand how the fuck I get to this eigenvector or whatever. Boring! I'm actually rather a pessimist when it comes to things like interstellar travel and the fruitfulness of said endeavours. I mean, it's nice to go to the moon and check shit out and go to Mars and check shit out, and that's all very nice and sort of fits in very pleasantly with sort of sci-fi ideas of the world and other planets, other worlds, and the universe at large, but unless we develop something that's rather easier. I mean, of course, we could probably, maybe, develop something like that, and I think, I don't know, I think it'll probably happen at some point. Or, okay, I think it could happen, but I don't know if it will, and I especially don't know if it will in my lifetime. Sincerely doubt it will in my lifetime. But I've got the summer off, so, you know, I'm down. I'm going to tell you a story that will illustrate the way in which my exam went far better than I could just by straight up telling you, because that's boring. Boring! I went to bed last night at a respectable hour because the exam was at 10 AM this morning. Woke up, realised I'd missed the exam. Was like, holy shit, fuck, no! But then I realised I was just dreaming, and I woke up and realised I was late for the exam. But then I woke up and I was running to school. The beginning of that kind of gives us away, doesn't it? Ran to school, was like, what's the time? To this bitch. And she was all bitchy about it, like, not telling me. It's quarter to something. Dick move. Eventually I got out of it and realised I'd missed the exam entirely. Then I woke up and I was lying on my bed and it was 1 AM. And I couldn't get back to sleep for 5 hours, and then I slept for 1 hour, and then I got up. But the exam was surprisingly not that bad. But now my head is quite bad, and my talking is worse, so that's why I thought this would be a good time to use and do both. When you talk about the worst thing you've ever seen, you have to clarify if you mean internet or real life. Internet worst thing is so far up the echelon tree that it just sort of becomes a bit irrelevant. It's like, meep. So, for instance, when I was in Rome, I was 19, 18, and I was just walking around at night, and it was a bit weird at night around the train station. And there was this guy who was homeless a lot. Big time homeless dude, always on the floor, sort of looking fucked. And he was just sort of getting his dick out a little bit and also pissing all over himself and the floor. And that was probably pretty much the worst thing. I don't really know why, there's just something about it that was really bad and sort of matches the shit I've seen on the internet, just because that falls lower, like, you know, Beamy Pain Olympics dude is bifurcating his dick for some reason. Well, we all know why. Recommend it. It's a good time to spend tonight for you. Do it. Beep, 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 beep. The fact that you're watching my responses live, as it were, and sending me numerous questions that you'd like me to respond to does more to that end than I think I could. Thanks. I like that this has gone far enough. This message has gone far enough that it looks like I just wrote it myself, to myself, from myself, and that the guy said I was boring. He's stuck true to his word, and he just left. He's gone. He's not coming back. My heart, I am inside it. These are just the old Sennheiser 555. 555. 3 times 5, that's 15. Getting a degree. You can get headphones that light up depending on how fast you're microing, and that's pretty much the height. We're not being condescending. It just sounds like it a lot. How fast you're microing, how fast you're micromanaging. So when you're playing in RTS, in your RTS world, in order to build the units, to make the mines or whatever, and to send your men out and to attack and to not attack and to retreat, everything has a key binding. And when you're doing that so fast, your actions per minute, the higher your actions per minute rises, the better the colour on your old earphones is. I do like Game of Thrones. It hasn't filled my heart to its highest energy level. I woke up thinking about fucking magic numbers in the same way as the Borgia did, and the same way the Sopranos did, and the same way Mad Men did initially, and things like that. It doesn't feel as weighty for some reason. I felt the same way about the books, but I do really enjoy the series. It's good. I saw a midget today. She was so small I almost kicked her over. This is really weird. Makes me feel weird, kind of weird, but I would love to see them, so please email them to me. What email address shall I give? rose@ready-up.net. Thanks. Italy is pretty bad for this shit. I mean, I don't know if any of them mean it, if they're gonna forcefully enact it with their crotch, but Christ, they sure talk the talk. But do they rape the rape? I don't know. Apparently not. Apparently they're not so bad when it comes down to it. But I don't know, it's pretty fucking sleaze-o-matic. I was on like the streets of Macedonia, Skopje, Macedonia. It felt kind of like those dudes might, maybe sometime. That whole place was wow. The most interesting thing there was the fucking post office, because it was a pretty weird Art Deco building. Well, if we go by the empirically collected, never falsified, hand penile length direct correlation routine, and we get ourselves a science, and we do ourselves a measure, then we get ourselves an 18 centimeters. Placid. Games for me to play over the summer from the start, starting afresh. The Witcher 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Mafia 2. I want to finish Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, move on to Call of Pripyat. Finish Arkham Asylum, because it's fun. Finish Dragon Age Origins, played about 37 hours or something. Need to get to the end of that, although I'm going to have so many fucking games I'm playing. I want to finish the Penumbra games, because I want to play Amnesia basically, and I'm in a really annoying place in Penumbra. Can't remember where, but I remember it being annoying, so I want to do that. But I'm building a new computer next month, so I'm going to be fucking obligated to get this shit done. So excited. I can't hear you through the wall of cocaine and hookers, so I can't read you, is what I'm saying. I'm illiterate, is actually the truth of the matter. Let that be a lesson to you, whatever that lesson may be. Take it. It completely blows my... That really... Doing some coke, as you can tell from my face. Anti-coke face. Somebody asked me a question, irrelevantly, probably this will end up being deleted also as a result of the irrelevantness, saying, I slur my words a lot, I'm a massive druggie, clearly. I'm not a massive druggie, I just tend to do this at night when I'm kind of sleepy. Okay? I'm deleting messages, responses that are boring, because they're boring. It's, hang on a sec, just put my fingers there, and bring them out. It's this big. No, that got smaller than it actually is. It's like when I was a kid, and now, when I try and measure myself against people and my hand goes like that. Yep, I'm taller than you. Sucker. It's 24 inches wide, diagonally. Oh yeah. Generally speaking, my memory is quite good, but when it comes to episodes of South Park, it's fucking appalling. I don't know quite what it is. I think because they're very compacted and fairly... I don't know, they're not particularly straightforward, and quite a lot of things happen per episode usually, even though there's a general theme. Lately they haven't been quite up to... I was going to say up to snatch then. I don't know what word it is that's supposed to be there. Up to snatch. They're not really up to snatch. That episode of South Park. The only one I can think of at the moment is the Human Centipede Centipad episode. And I think I went twice in it. I understand where you're coming from with this, because when you're great at something, you don't expect to have to do it again. That's just tedious and annoying. So what I suggest to you is just get a knife and just cut and keep cutting. And then he's out of your life for good, and no regretting necessary. I went to see a recording of a shit internet TV show hosted by Robert Webb, and I think maybe my opinion of him has been marred somewhat. But I think David Mitchell was always the winner here. Incredibly smart dude, incredibly funny dude, in all situations. Robert Webb is awesome as Jez. Excellent, excellent, excellent. If it was Jez versus Mark, I might even have some difficulty. But if it's David Mitchell versus Robert Webb, there's no contest. Do comedy classes exist? I mean, I guess they do, but I feel like they'd strip anyone of any comedy they had. Whenever you have a group of people deciding what's funny and what's not, you generally end up with something that's homogenized shit, and it's not a good thing, so I think I'll avoid that and just maybe do it one day. I'm feeling buck wild. I have been having incredibly boring breakfasts recently, which don't make for good stories. I eat porridge and coffee morningly, and it's something I'm kind of ashamed of, but also it's a good breakfast, man. It's a good base for the day. It starts off, and it's nice to have that there. As soon as I start chomping breads, delicious breads at breakfast, then I have a hunger for breads that just cannot be tamed. Breads is fucking great. I love Breads. I'm really bad at bowling. Like, kind of joke bad. I mean, not quite joke bad, but I have this thing where it curls every fucking time. I don't mean it to, but every time it curls, so I have to aim off slightly. And that doesn't make it straightforward, and it's not consistent either. So I'm pretty much near the bottom of the pile in the bowling screen. And that really hurts my soul quite deeply. I'm not able to cope with that well. And I expect myself to get better, but it doesn't seem to happen. So Laser Quest, even though it's really expensive and I haven't done it for ages, I would love to do it if it was cheaper. Cheaper! God damn it, fucking London. Kinda, sometimes, if I'm not doing something I should really be doing imminently, then it's like everything I'm doing is a fucking waste, but I don't feel it quite so much as I could do, which means I don't stop, I think, often. But when I have nothing to do and I'm just like, you know, lying on the bed for 4 hours watching a fly, I'm very happy to do that, and I enjoy every wasted second. I play Akuma, and I play Akuma so much that anytime I try and play any other character, I'm still trying to throw air fireballs. Don't get me wrong on this, I'm not one of the people who will stick absolutely to DDoS 2 in any sort of, in an actual game where, you know, you play and then you die and you wait for the next round. I like to play all the maps, most of the maps in that situation. I don't like just playing DDoS 2 over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like a lot of people do. But I spent quite a lot of time on deathmatch servers that are DDoS 2 just constantly, and it gets me into a very nice state of mind that is probably unhealthy, but I just know everywhere on that map, and it's fucking perfect for that setup, and I really like deathmatch, even though I'm slightly ashamed of it, just because it seems like Tardo Counter-Strike or Counter-Strike. But I do it, and I love it. I'm really enjoying Gun Game lately, which is another example, I feel, of retardo Counter-Strike. But, I don't know. When a new Counter-Strike game comes out, I promise I'll play it properly. I promise. I don't really like DDoS though. Like the original DDoS, I think it's a little, I don't know. I played it so much, getting flashbanged down that stupid when you go left and there's the thing. And then if you go the other way, which I liked doing with my AK-47, you get sniped. And that's just super good with the AK-47, so I always wanted to go that way, because sometimes you can knock them off and feel fucking amazing. But I never felt, I don't know, it doesn't do well for me. I'm sort of slightly rash, and that map is very much, it pays to not ever do anything risky. And I'm not such a fan of those kind of maps. In the summer, I get kind of a colour, and freckles, which just look like I got splattered with dirt. One year I was on a beach, a nude beach, in Barcelona. I didn't get naked, come on. I was led there under false pretenses. Damn you, Rafa. This guy was called Rafa, he owned the hostel, he worked at the hostel. Really liked the fact I was doing physics, because quantum mechanics means that, you know, hippie, Rafa, come on. Anyway, when I went to this beach, I was kinda, you know, oh fuck, I've been in Spain for 3 weeks and I'm not burnt in the slightest. I am amazing. Do a little bit of the old but really, I'm pretty much invulnerable to this frying heat and UV rays. Came away from that with pretty bad, pretty weird, pretty quilted tan that was just like lines and patches and weirdness, kind of looked like a disease. So I had some tan, but even then it wasn't like, you know, a tan. It was just easily delineated from the regular transparency. So, transparent. That's the way I am. I didn't go outside for a really long time when I was a kid, and it makes me think that rickets is a myth. Keep at it. I don't know what you like or don't like, or you might or might not have heard of, therefore I've been listening to Paul Bazan a lot recently. He's from Pedro the Lion. One of my favourite bands is called Saetia, Saetia. You might hate them. Don't know who you are. Probably hate them. I'm seeing The Weakerthans this month, quite soon. Ooh. And Modern Life is War are a good band that I've been listening to quite a bit lately, who I didn't listen to for a long time. Austin Lucas is like a country dude that I like listening to. I've seen him a few times, and his songs are really great, and his lyrics are great, but as soon as he gets on stage, he can't fucking talk for shit, and it's like weird disparity. Algernon Cadwallader, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see them live. They're playing in July, and I'm probably not going to be here. I bought a ticket for it just in case I'm here. They're really good, really like them. Those are some just off the top of my crown for you. This is such a weird question. I remember when I was a kid, I was on the internet. I was just talking to some guy. I wasn't a kid, I was like 14 or 15. And I said I was from England. And he stopped talking to me because he said there's no black people in England, and he was black. It stuck with me as a strange thing. Also, I was outside once. Fucking anecdotes. And I stopped because I was waiting to meet someone. Just as these black guys were walking by, and the black guy turned to me and said, "Fucking racist." I haven't dated a black guy, but if he was a cool guy, sure, why not? Except I have a boyfriend who's not black, sorry. At the moment, it's YU. YU, blah, 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 with a Y. And Le does something. Le does something. Bleh. I fucking hate it all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. I mean, because I have this weird thing I do on the internet that's a bit like this, I feel like anything anyone says to me doesn't quite apply to the actual me that is me just hanging out on my computer reading them. So that's kind of helpful, but I think even if that wasn't there, it's just like the internet is just it's a whole new world, and don't you dare close your eyes, but just laugh wholeheartedly the whole way. It's a magic carpet ride. Slightly despairing and somewhat depressed. It was my favourite kind of comedy, and just very honest and unashamed. People who have no consideration for other people, basically. If you're stupid, I don't really give a fuck as long as it doesn't affect me directly. Such as was the case yesterday in a cinema. If you're stupid, be quiet and I really won't mind. It won't affect me. Won't impact on my life. But if you're stupid and you talk in a cinema, then life sucks. Life just sucks when I'm sitting in there and you're talking. There was a guy next to me yesterday. I turned to him and said, "Shh." Yeah, I went there. Sometimes you say shut up, but this was early on. And I just went, shh, because he said, sorry. But he was still talking to himself, sometime afterwards. It's not alright. And there was somebody else with a fuck off bag of popcorn, and then get some, and she was just staring ahead. Like, I just kept just looking at her, just like, what the fuck? But she was quite far away and didn't know I was staring in hatred. But I mean, she seemed kind of just absolutely oblivious to the insane amount of noise she was making at regular intervals. And I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. people are just so oppressive and stupid, and that drives me crazy. If you're stupid and quiet, that's alright. I guess you can still exist. Be better if you didn't, but I'll give you a free pass. If you're loud and annoying in the cinema, or even just get your phone out to check a message, then fucking you're gone. I've talked about Wolfram Alpha before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Because although at that time I said it was a great thing, it was going to be great, all I use it for is quick integration when I'm doing a bunch of homework and can't be fucked. Well, you kind of have to be fucked. They don't let you not be fucked, even if it's by parts integration. They want to see every constituent part, no matter how tedious it is. So I just use it to check my result is reasonable. By parts. I don't know. I don't have any plans at the moment, and might not have money for that kind of shit. I would really like to go to Gamescom in Cologne, but fuck, man, Cologne, place to stay in Cologne is so expensive. Germany is a dick of mammoth proportions, as has been historically the case. Fucking hotels follow suit, and hostels. Hostels, like 20 quid a night for a dorm room. Jesus. I'm really bad at favourites, so this is going to be shit, just to forewarn you. Books. I don't even know what to say as a possibility. Lord of the Rings. That's very safe, isn't it? It's like saying The Godfather Part 2 is your favourite film, which I also will say in a favourite film list. I don't really have specific favourites because I can't do it, because I'm weak. I really liked House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielowski, even though his follow-up was beyond shit and made me question the original book. And I haven't read it for many years, so I'm kind of going on my younger opinion, which probably isn't very trustworthy. I think it's somewhat trustworthy, but not the whole way. The Bandini Quartet by John Fante. Specifically Ask the Dust. I haven't seen the film because I don't want to see the film because the whole thing is dreadful. Colin Farrell. I mean, I hate Colin Farrell, but I like him sometimes, and that kind of makes me like Colin Farrell, but for the most part, he's not good. He's not. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that now, because it's been fucking too long in a too long zone, and I've answered the first question. Actress Cate Blanchett. Holiday, Euro trip, I don't know what year it was in, with Flufffest that I've talked about previously, that you can go back and check, and I said the wrong date then. So good. Dessert, I'm skipping right to the end because the others were too challenging for me. Tiramisu, maybe? I really like tiramisu a lot. But I also really like carrot cake. You know what? I just kind of fucking love cake in all of its different forms. I love, like, heavy chocolate cake. Oh, it's gone by. I can't even relate to you how shocked I would be. The thing is, you don't even get to see the best ones because I can't even think of a way to answer them. I could just stare at the webcam instead of, trying to say anything about them. But I feel like that might get a bit old. I'm really sorry for questions that have been asked to you, Haggis, and others. Whoever's doing it, can you please stop? Because it's embarrassing and a bit shit. And makes me look like a dick too, I think, so I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Well, I wouldn't want to be so bold as to say, you tell me. I went to see Win-Win at the Cineworld Haymarket, and it was good. Do you want to know why it was good? There were 3 things that made it good. Okay, ready? It was cheap, it was quite big, and it was quiet. 3 things out of all of the things in the world. Just 3. What? Why is that so hard? What? Why? What? Why? What? Aliens. And I'll tell you for why. So ghosts are proven to exist, and therefore they've existed for all these years. with pretty much zero impact on any of our lives, apart from maybe someone saw a ghost once, and the expression, you look like you saw a ghost, because you're white and scared of a ghost. Ghosts are boring. Really, really boring. Aliens aren't. They might come and fuck our shit up, and won't that make for an exciting time? I do read, alright? Let's not portray me as some form of illiterate. I'm just busy, lazy, busy, lazy, busy. Have I done this before? Probably. That's the way it goes. Off the back of Dune, I'd probably recommend The Earthsea Quartet by Ursula K. Le Guin. Because in my mind it's in the same sort of box, because I don't have categories, just fucking boxes in my brain. Or, if you really want to go for the serious element, I don't know, like, I recently read The Foundation, the first book in the series by Isaac Asimov, and I thought it was going to be really boring from lots of people telling me, yeah, it's really boring, but it wasn't boring. I really liked it. It very much appealed directly to me. I'm taking a break by reading a different book. I have the next one in the series, but now this other book is like, can't you just get out of the way? I want to go read the second Foundation book. So, the Earthsea Quartet is more fancy-esque, I guess, and more about sort of, it's basically about a kid who can do some shit like Dune kind of was, and that always appeals to me even when it's Harry Potter. I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm ashamed, but that's fine. But the Foundation trilogy, it's not a trilogy, it's a series, is very serious in that it's sort of politicsy and in that way oriented. So choose one and report back with your enjoyment factor. I really don't care very much about money. I know people who are going to work really, really hard to get really, really shit jobs that earn them a shitload of money. I don't want to do that because it's shit. I just want to do something that I enjoy doing, hopefully, maybe, or something that just gets me enough money to get by on, and hopefully isn't killing me in the process. So, if I was dating someone and they were really, really, really rich, that would be fucking awesome. Equally, if I was really rich, I would share the money liberally with whoever I was with, and if they had a problem with that, I'd think they were stupid. So, yes, I would. Yes, I did, and I'm going to build another one pretty soon. I have some parts here. Here is one of the parts. Oh, the K. Look at the K. Just look at it. Oh, fuck. And I think this looks fucking retarded. G-Skill. I almost bought different RAM that was £6 more expensive just because it looked less extremely retarded, but I didn't, because that would be stupid. Really, I just need some tape. Just tape it down like this, and just walk around like that, and then I won't have such a huge nose problem, and I'll save a lot of money in the process. The only thing I care more about than biscuits is cake. So this is a tough question for me, because there's such a wide variety of biscuits available to my chomping mouth, and my phone keeps doing that even though no one's trying to call, trust me. My favourite biscuit, I really like gingerbread men. Does that count as a biscuit? Because it is a man. I also really like digestive biscuits, plain chocolate digestive biscuits, and plain chocolate hobnobs. This is the symbol for plain chocolate, somehow. I'm just picking up on it instinctually from my past life as a deaf person. And I also really like Fox's biscuits that are just insanely fucked. I just had a packet, and they're gone now, and I miss them. Insanely fucked, just like fat and chocolatey and like and you want to eat them all. It's
kind of like Pokemon, but you eat them. And I really like fat cookies like this big, as wide as my face, from supermarkets that you get in packs of 5. Woo! And I really like all manner of fucking biscuits. Oh my god, I love biscuits so much. I think talking about specific sections of the game is sucky because it's spoilery, and I think anybody going into it should try and know nothing about it, or, you know, the vague premise of it's kind of fucking scary, and just go in on it from there, from that angle. But, it's fucking great. Initially, I didn't play the first one for ages, and then I finished it the other day, and I moved on to the second one. And obviously Amnesia is on the horizon, and that's originally the reason I was playing them. It's just like, fuck, just gotta get through to Amnesia. I'm interested in these games kinda, but I just want to get through to Amnesia, but actually these games are fucking awesome. And that is my impression in general, I think. I really like the way it's written. I like the design of it, I guess. Initially not so much, it can be a bit of a grind, but it's kind of cool. I really like getting to new rooms where you feel safe and you can just look around and stuff. It really creates a sense of when you're not in a room that you know is safe, which I like about a game. Dead Space did it quite well too. So yeah, I would say recommended highly, most highly. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, obviously you've played it, but I mean anybody who hasn't played it. Pterodactyls. Roughly 4 or 5 pterodactyls. And 1 chick. There's obviously lots of weird shit on the internet, because it's the fucking internet. Beanie Pain Olympics, I guess that's kind of porn. And everything in between. Nothing very frightening has happened to me, so I find it difficult to know what I do. This is knowing. Oh my god, my hand skills are off the fucking chart today. I think I would freeze, and I'll tell you why I think this. Yesterday, I was gonna go have a shower, and then I got hiccups. And I froze. I just stayed here, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till these hiccups finish, because I don't really want to have a shower while I've got hiccups. You know, you can fix hiccups immediately by drinking out of a glass backwards, but for some reason I froze. Actually, I just went back on the internet. I was just like, browse. I was terrified. I'm telling you now, and I froze. So that's it. Okay, well here's a little bonus, because although I think these things that I eat are cakes that I want to talk to you about, they are sort of biscuity. So there's a divide there where I might not dump them in the cake category, and might not dump them in the biscuit category if I was thinking about either side of the category, which is there's a line between it. Thornton's caramel shortcakes. I mean, all caramel shortcakes. Well, not all, but a fair number are fucking mind-blowing. It's a layer of biscuitiness, and a layer of caramel, and a layer of chocolate. Have you come across this? It's fucking amazing. It has a considerable part to play in my biscuit life, if indeed it is a biscuit. I've read I, Robot by Asimov, but I haven't read the Robot series, and in all honesty, it doesn't draw me inexorably towards it, because robots, meh. I could see why I, Robot was important in sci-fi, just to sort of get that stuff ironed out, and it was cool to see. It sort of felt, you know, it's just very basic, but incredibly necessary to build a lot of things on. So is the Robot series more of that, just like more a different way of illustrating those rules, or is it more bulky? I don't know, I can't feel too compelled to read it right now, but maybe with added information I could be compelled wholeheartedly towards it. The only other book by Asimov that I've read is The End of Eternity, which I enjoyed, because it's about time travel, and that gives me a massive boner every time. When I played Morrowind, when I started playing Morrowind, because I didn't get very far, I'd never played something on such a massive scale before, and it was like
like, whoa, what the fuck? And I felt way in over my head, which is, you know, weird to think of now, but I've never done anything like it. And I joined the guild, and